as long as you lend a hand. You can sit around
back here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Joined now by Jason Kinander of WIBW in Topeka, where he reports on all things basketball and collegiate sports. He's also the host of Hook 'em Hoops, podcast on the Field of 68 Network. Jason, we started the season talking about this Texas basketball team, some 3.5 months ago. What a journey it's been. Here we are now at the end of the line. What were your thoughts watching the game last night?
I thought Texas got robbed. I thought Texas got robbed, man. I'm usually not the type of person who points the fingers at the officials. I don't think it was a lopsided game from a whistle standpoint. I just don't like the way that game was called. Purdue baited Texas into way too many fouls. The game was determined by things that just weren't basketball, and that's super unfortunate at this juncture of the season and the postseason. So that's really my immediate reaction. Really sour feeling about that. Really sour feeling that Texas was handicapped down the stretch of the game. But, the other side of it is Jordan Pope's playing on one foot. Tremont Mark's playing on one leg. These guys wouldn't have had a chance against Arizona. So it kind of had to come to an end yesterday. It stinks the way that it did. But what an amazing run for the Longhorns and Sean Miller putting a bow on a really impressive first year at the helm.
Yeah, and I was going to get to the officiating. I definitely don't want to harp on it for most of this segment, but I'm with you on the issues with the way things were called. I thought they set the wrong precedent early in the game in terms of the hooking and holding. Trey Kaufman-Renn is 6'4", 250 pounds. He's on the ground a whole heck of a lot for a guy of that size and strength.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. And I, being a guy from Chicago, a lot of my friends are Midwest guys, Big Ten guys, Illinois grads, Indiana grads, Iowa grads. And I told them after that game, I said, I can see why you guys hate Purdue so much. It's just an unethical way of hoops. And whether it be Zach Edey a few years ago or, some of the foul baiting now, it's unfortunate. So props to Purdue. They played their game to the best of their abilities, and that's why they're playing tomorrow, and Texas isn't. I don't think the refs handed Purdue the game. Purdue still executed down the stretch, and they scored the last basket. And that's really all you can ask for is a Sweet 16 game coming down to that. I've said time and time again, on radio and on TV, I'd rather my team lose like that than lose by 35. So heartbreaking loss, but a valiant effort and a lot to be proud of.
Yeah, in terms of the final sequence, I know we'll hear Sean Miller address this later in the show. The decision to swap Modest Vocatitis off the floor, who despite some of his size advantages in the paint, was playing with 4 fouls and was only sitting on 2 rebounds in the game. I thought it made sense in that you forced a tough shot from Kendall Weaver, but the other side of that decision was obviously not having one extra big body on the floor to close out Kaufman-Renn.
Yeah, I'm going to play devil's advocate, honestly, contrary to the rest of really what seems like America today and Charles Barkley immediately after the game. I kind of understood not having Vocatitis on the court because Purdue had just been going right at him, and it was a tight whistle, and he's not a fundamental defender. And so would you rather the game get decided by a shot, like a field goal, or a free throw? And if you're playing Purdue, it's a field goal because they are the best free throw shooting team in the country. So, and I also understand the side of it that you want to keep your best player for overtime. I think Texas would have won that game if it went into overtime, both with Vocatitis being available, Clough being out for Purdue, and just the momentum being in the Longhorns' favor with the way they tied that game. So, yeah, it is frustrating. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But I understand Sean Miller's thinking, and he's made more right decisions in crucial situations down the stretch of the season than wrong decisions. So I'm not going to put it on him.
How about the performance we saw both pre and post turned ankle from Tremont Mark in last night's game? I know early in the year when we talked, you mentioned Mark and Pope. They were going to determine how far this Texas team could climb, in addition to obviously the maturation of modest vocatitis. I don't think either of us saw the type of season Dalen Swain had in the cards, but when you think about last night's game, the effort, the guts on display from Mark and Pope, both playing, like you pointed out, on one foot, has to, I think, bring a lot of praise and pride from Longhorn fans who still might be heartbroken after the loss last night.
Absolutely. I think both Tremont Mark and Jordan Pope really etched their names in Texas basketball history this March with their runs. I mean, Tremont Mark is going to go down in Texas history as one of the most clutch shot makers. He hit huge shots down the stretch of last season, huge shots down the stretch of this season. He was at the middle of some of the most recent wins against Texas A&M. So those guys have so much to be proud of, man. And us as Texas alumni have a lot to be proud of for the way that they represented the school. They didn't hang their heads after the loss last night, but they also didn't let anything hold them back. They had earned all their money. They had, proven really everything that they could prove as seniors down the stretch of the season. Either of those guys could have sat out last night, took their ball and went home with their injury, but they still fought and they still played well. Jordan Pope, 95 times out of 100 isn't playing in that situation. So for him to have played as much as he did and made a positive enough impact on the game, that should be remembered for years upon years. These guys are going to end up being, some of the stewards of the Sean Miller era. If this ends up turning into what I hope it can be at Texas, we're going to remember this run a lot as something that reset the standard at this school for basketball and something that invigorated the boosters. And those two guys are going to get and deserve a lot of the credit. Just two awesome guys, awesome Texas basketball players, guys who I will be quick to name in conversations about college basketball deep cuts 3 to 5 years from now.
No doubt about it with those two. I mean, thinking about the way this program now moves into the spring, the transfer portal season, and into the summer feels a lot different than it did a couple of weeks ago. Has your list of off-season priorities or wish list, of so to speak, changed at all after these 2 weeks, or is it kind of the same as we thought coming into the tournament?
No, I don't think that they need to do as much adding as I even thought, as they even probably thought they needed to do. I think that retention is really the most important thing now. Like, I don't care about Simeon Wilcher, but like if everyone else, and then they have the British big, he's fine. I mean, you don't like losing a development project, but
John Clark.
Oh no, Obiora is who I'm thinking
right.
of. Those two can go. John Clark, being a former top 75 recruit who you just redshirted, he should really come back. But like Clark, Cody, Vocatitis, Heidi, and especially Dalen Swain, if all those guys come back, that's one heck of a core. That could be, depending on who leaves at Florida, between head coaches and players, that could really be a preseason, not just SEC contender, but SEC favorite if all those guys come back. So retention is the most important thing. You'd like to add a shot maker to replace Jordan Pope. You'd like to add a bucket getter to replace Tremont Mark. Maybe some more size because you don't have that with the incoming freshman class, and you lacked that down the stretch of the season. The lack of depth there, I think, was exposed. So that's what I would add, but it's not nearly as long or as expensive of a transfer portal wish list as it was 2 weeks ago. Retention is way, 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 way more important now.
I think so too. And based on some of Nick Cody's comments after the game last night, seems like he will be back in the program. Sounds like Cam Heidi, based on Nick Cody's account, might be back in the program as well.
And I was disappointed in Heidi's performance last night. I know that he got a tight whistle, but man, you got to play smarter than that, especially in an emotional game, not just for yourself, but for the entire team. I know it was his revenge game, but man, Texas really could have used him on the court down the stretch, both with his shot making and his ability to guard positions 1 through 4. I really want him back, both as a player and as a leader. I love what he brings to any college basketball team, but that's the type of guy that winning programs have. And that's the type of guy who has now been to 3 second weekends of the NCAA tournament. That's no small feat. So I'm really, really excited about the prospect of his senior season in Austin. Granted that he does return.
Second weekend continues tonight. I don't know what you saw, how much you saw of the other action yesterday. How about Illinois? The Balkans bullying Houston off the block and punching their ticket in the Elite Eight, meeting Iowa of all teams. Chaos has struck the South region of this year's bracket, and I was a little bit floored by these results.
I'll say I was floored by the Illinois result because I didn't expect them to play as good of defense as they did last night. I mean, part of it was Houston's guards just didn't show up, but it was pretty obvious a few minutes into the game that Houston's bigs felt like they were outmatched between Sanak chucking up shots and Tugler being incredibly handsy. Those two guys were playing so out of their usual selves that Illinois just immediately had the upper hand, ran Houston out of the gym. That surprised me. Iowa, I always thought was underseeded. I thought they underperformed in the regular season. This is a team that they don't have the talent of a top 5 seed, but I thought could have been a top 5 seed with the continuity of guys who were familiar with Ben McCollum's system and Bennett Sturts being a preseason first-team All-Big Ten guy. So I was surprised to see Iowa beat Florida last weekend, especially in the manner that they did. But now that they're here, I can't say I'm too shocked that they're performing this high because they have such an awesome coach, an awesome point guard, and a bunch of senior leaders who are just, playing with their lives on the line. Look at Fulgaris. He's hit the biggest shots of the tournament. So exciting team to follow. Not that surprised by them. More surprised by Illinois. Wasn't surprised at all in the other region that Arizona just ran Arkansas out of the gym. They're going to do that tomorrow to Purdue. Some awesome games tonight too, man. I could talk about it all day. Just an awesome slate.
We've got a couple minutes as far as that region in my hometown of Washington, D.C., with the legendary coaches going, should we say, nose to nose. Duke St. John's is up first, then Michigan State will take on UConn. What do you expect to see in that kind of blue blood region in the East?
Oh, man, it's going to be scenes. These are the matchups that you tell your kids about. These are the matchups that your parents told you about, that your grandparents told you about. This is about as good as it gets. I think Duke is going to destroy St. John's tonight.
Wow.
I think that St. John's has so much love as a public dog. They pulled off such an awesome win, but they didn't look that great in that win against KU. That was a rock fight, and they almost threw that game away down the stretch. They did not deserve to win that game. They just happened to hit the last shot. So I'm expecting Duke to come out swinging. I see this as a blowout spot for them, especially with Caleb Foster back and Big Pat, the center, being more healthy than he was last week. I think that's really important. As for the Michigan State UConn game, I've got a little less of a read on that. Danny Hurley is 11-0 against the spread in the second weekend of the NCAA tournament or later. But those things don't matter once you actually get there, because then you have to play the game and win. And I think the Michigan State Spartans match up really well against UConn. I like their front court against Terrence Reed and not a whole lot else in terms of big men for UConn. And Jeremy Fears might just be the best point guard in the country. I love his game, love his moxie, love his swagger. Don't love some of his dirty plays, but other than that, he is so much fun to watch, and he's a Chicago suburbs guy. How can you not love that? So those are my picks for the big games of tonight.
In Chicago, Alabama, Michigan headlines the other region tonight. Look, Arizona and Michigan, when the bracket came out, I loved both of their draws. Is that a collision course in the Final Four you see in the making, or does Michigan have a potential banana peel in front of them with Alabama?
That's the one, I was sending my picks to my buddies today, and they were like, Jason, please, why don't you, what's one upset, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, if I had to pick one, it'd be this Michigan game, just because Alabama can score 100 points at any given time. And by that virtue, they can win any game. Now, at the same time, they don't play any defense. So Michigan can also score 100 points and then some and still win this game. But I see a path to victory for Alabama if they hit shots early. I like LeBaron Philon as the best guard in this game. Michigan's going to win, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be as surprised as everyone else would be, I'll say, if they slip up tonight.
While we have you talking to Jason Kinander from WIBW, you mentioned KU. That's the team that you've spent a lot of the season covering. And earlier this week, we covered some of the coaching carousel notes around college basketball. Bill Self, a little bit non-committal right now on what his future looks like. He denied the retirement rumor, saying that's bad info. But it wasn't a denial. It was just, to my understanding, right, no decision has been reached there.
Yeah, well, so first off, I did think it was so 2026 that it was a burner account that tweeted out this retirement rumor, a John Rothstein burner who had like cursed multiple times in the tweet, and so many people bought it and ran with it. And it didn't have like a ratio or anything. Like, it looked like news to people other than you and I who have an eye for this stuff. And Bill Self had to release a statement. Poor Bill Self, who should be golfing on a beach, whatever, a week into his off season. Listen, I don't have a read on if he's going to retire or not, but I do know that he is going to announce this on his terms when he's ready. He doesn't want anybody to break this news for him. So when he's ready to announce the decision that I doubt he's even made yet on the future of his head coaching position at KU, he will. But the other thing is, he's a selfless guy in the sense that, like, he's not going to drag this out. If he's not staying at KU, if he's going to hang him up, we're going to know in the next week or so, because he's going to let them get their next guy in place and move on so that this doesn't hinder them at all, So that's my read on the situation. I don't have any insight, from if he, is leaning one way or the next. If you made me pick, I would guess that he's not back next year, just from the way that things sounded after the loss and the way that the coaching candidate pool could shake up. KU could have their pick of some awesome candidates, but Bill Self is going to announce it on his own volition when he makes his own decision, which I doubt he's even made yet.
Jason, you know how I know Kansas has changed you?
How?
the phrase "poor Bill Self." I don't think anyone that's listened to this show has said that.
I forget sometimes where I'm doing these radio hits. No one in Austin feels bad for Bill Self at any point.
Well, look, I feel bad that the Texas men's basketball season is over, because it means we've got a lot less to catch up on. But maybe as we track this KU story, we'll touch base again soon. Always thank you. Always grateful for your time, and love talking Texas hoops with you this year, Jason.
Gotcha, man. Appreciate you bringing me on. Looking forward to doing it in the future.
That is Jason Kinander from WIBW. We'll talk to you soon. And right now, we'll send you to a quick break before hearing some post-game sound bites from Longhorns head coach Sean Miller. This is AM 1300 The Zone.
The road to a national championship starts now, and every game matters. Download the new DraftKings Predictions app and make real money predictions on all the March tournament matchups. There's always something to predict. Will a one seed stay dominant? Will a Cinderella story bust brackets? Who survives and advances? Make your pick before tip-off or jump in live as the action unfolds. DraftKings Predictions is a new, easy-to-use app to predict the outcomes of sports and real-world events. Now available in California, Texas, Florida, and other states. Download DraftKings Prediction app today with code AM1300. New customers trade $5 and get 50 predictions dollars with promo code AM1300. Don't just feel it, predict it with DraftKings Predictions. The crown is yours. DraftKings Predictions is a CFTC registered introducing broker. Event contract trading involves substantial risk of loss. One per new customer. Often required. Non-withdrawable predictions dollars expire in 1 year. Ends April 6, 2026. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. See terms at dkng.co/predictions promo.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doop doop, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
And we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the
Not with Fix Finder. Free at every AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
It's Truck Month at Group 1 Ford of South Austin, where transparent pricing means no dealer add-ons. Get up to $16,000 off a 2025 F-150 or 0% for 60 months, or a brand new 2025 Ford Ranger for just $29,988. Group 1 Ford of South Austin, 5000 South I-35 Frontage Road, or Group1FordofSouthAustin.com. Up to $60,000 off on select 2025 Ford F-150 models. Includes dealer discount, package discount, retail, and bonus cash. Not all customers qualify for 0%. 2025 Ford Ranger includes dealer discount, bonus customer cash, and TM bonus cash. Offer ends March 31st, 2026.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
Austin, San Antonio, and St. Louis.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Time for your Live Nation concert update. Don't miss Sun at Emo's April 4th.
The blood's on the wall, so you might as well just...
Lamb of God at Moody Amphitheater at Waterloo Park April 10th. Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders at ACL Live April 13th. And Godsmack at Germania Insurance Amphitheater May 29th. Get tickets at livenation.com.
Hey boys, it's Elena
and Aaron from Texas's #1 sports bar,
Rowdy Cowboy. Come join us and our gorgeous friends watch your basketball bracket get busted on our 69 Texas-sized TVs.
Saddle up for ice-cold beer and mouth-watering food.
Talk about mouth-watering. The smoking hot Rowdy Cowgirls are ready to give you an unforgettable experience that will have you coming back for more.
March Rowdiness is happening at Rowdy Cowboy in Round Rock. Come check it out or take a peek at GoRowdyCowboy.com.
College basketball back in the spotlight. March Hoops will have everyone talking.
That game was unbelievable.
Whose brackets are busted? Cinderella stories and buzzer beaters that make history. Yes! Lock into Fox Sports Radio is your #1 preset on the iHeartRadio app. Plus, binge on demand podcasts for more coverage with the Dan Patrick Show, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Their front line looks like an NBA front line.
And more. Search college basketball on the iHeartRadio app to stay in the know.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It's the morning kickoff show with Mike Hardball, Hardge, and Mark Henry. Weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. Only on Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone.
So if you're lonely, you know I'm here waiting for you. I'm just a crosshair. I'm just a shot away from you. And if you leave here, you leave me broken, shattered alike. I'm just a crosshair. I'm just a shot, then we can die.
It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
Oh, it took a last-second buzzer beater, but the Longhorns headed home. Thank you to Jason Kinander bringing up some of his observations from the game, the season, taking the long view on where this Longhorn basketball program is headed after an exciting week-and-a-half run in March. Speaking of which, We're going to get to some of Sean Miller's comments later on in this segment. This is typically where Inconceivable would fall in the program. We're going to move things around because of our guests and schedule today. Inconceivable will come towards the end of the 3 o'clock hour on today's show. I did not forget that it's Florida Man Friday, and we have some very, very interesting stories to come out of Florida later on in the show today. One story, though, that doesn't belong in Inconceivable belongs on a more serious note. Tiger Woods this afternoon has been involved in yet another car crash. The Martin County Sheriff's Office in Jupiter Island, Florida, say that Tiger Woods was involved in a rollover crash. No details about the cause of the crash or Tiger Woods' condition were immediately released by the Sheriff's Office. This report coming from ESPN. The police are investigating, and a county sheriff is scheduled to speak with reporters at about 4 o'clock. Just last Tuesday, Tiger Woods played golf for the first time in more than a year during the TGL Finals. That's the Simulator Golf League, the indoor kind of one-off competition that has taken place on a lot of Tuesday nights here in the winter and now into the spring. Remember, Tiger Woods had 2 other car crashes, one back in February of 2021, which required some leg surgery after the open fractures on his right leg, and at least one more surgery related to injuries from that crash in April 2023. So some unfortunate news coming out of Florida there this afternoon. Certainly wishing for the best in terms of Tiger Woods. On the text line, somebody said, when does softball play? And the answer to that is 6 o'clock tonight. The Longhorns are going to welcome number 15 Texas A&M. Texas now the top-ranked team in the country, hosting this Lone Star Showdown. 6 o'clock tonight, 1 o'clock Saturday, and 1 o'clock on Sunday. And Texas will take its 27-game winning streak into those games. Also 8-0 on the road here in 2026. Yesterday, we played you a highlight montage and gave you a little recap of the Longhorns' win over Texas State on Wednesday. Got down 2-0 early, rallied back with some clutch relief pitching from Tegan Cavan and some back-to-back jacks from Reese Atwood and Katie Stewart, turning what was a 1-run deficit in the 6th inning into a 1-run lead that the Longhorns would hold on to in that 3-2 win. It'll be the first meeting between Texas and Texas A&M since that 2025 SEC tournament. That was a win for A&M in 5 innings. It's the first time the Aggies have been in Austin since the 2024 Super Regionals. That was a heart-stopping series. Texas A&M won the first game 6-5. Longhorns would rally back, come back from the brink of elimination to win Game 2 9-8, Game 3 6-5. 3 of the last 4 meetings between Texas and Texas A&M have been decided by 1 run. But now that these 2 schools are conference foes, it'll be their first regular season matchup since the 2012 season. So very, very exciting softball series on tap for Texas before they head to Tuscaloosa next weekend for a road series against the top 10 team. That's life in the SEC for Mike White and company. If you want to text in a question or a comment for the show, all you have to do is text the word Texas followed by your question to 81530. That's 81530. Standard message and data rates may apply. Okay, on to Sean Miller and his opening comments after the loss last night in San Jose for Texas men's basketball.
Yeah, there's a stark contrast between being here after a loss and being here after a win in this tournament. And just having done it 3 times already with these guys, it's obviously this is the tough part of it all. But, my thoughts about just our team would be this, that, I don't know if I've been a part of a team that's come so far in such a short period of time as these guys. And I've used the word resilience to describe our guys, our group, our team. I think it's very appropriate. And, tonight's game against Purdue embodies it. I mean, it was on full display. Jordan has a lower leg injury. It was his choice to play. I don't know how many guys that I've coached under these conditions on this stage would have chosen to play. it would have been very easy for him just to say, made the Sweet 16. I'm not going to be 100%. I don't know how I'll look. And because of that, I can't go. But he gave us everything and gave us the opportunity to win. Ditto for Tremont. He landed on a Purdue player's foot. Really just tough ankle injury. He could have done the same thing. I've had a good run. I've played well. It's killing me. But in both of their cases, they played for the University of Texas. And that's really what makes me the most proud, that when you can get these guys to play for the team, for the program, something bigger than themselves, that's something obviously they take with them forever. And for Dalen, the season that he had, these two guys I know will shake their head, is remarkable when you consider that he led us in 5 categories and just really did just virtually everything for our team, which included even today. Just a remarkable season from start to finish. So, we're very, very proud of these guys. It ends in a really tough way when you lose these close games, but I would much rather lose a heartbreaker than go away the other way. And I thought it was a terrific game. Wish Purdue a lot of luck moving forward.
So we'll hear more from Sean Miller and a couple of his players later on in the show. For now, we'll take a quick break and give you an update on the women's basketball Sweet 16 right after this.
Texas baseball is back. Catch every big hit.
This one out to deep left center. You can say goodnight to it.
Every strikeout.
Strike three call. Got him looking.
Every big play.
Dives. He made the catch. He made the catch.
Of Longhorns baseball all season long on 1300 The Zone and streaming free on the iHeart Radio app.
Texas Beach Volleyball is back in Austin as the Longhorns open their home season at the Texas Invitational. The Longhorns will host some of the top teams in the country, including number 1 UCLA and number 2 Stanford on Friday, March 27th. The action continues Saturday, March 28th with matches against Long Beach State and USC. Come enjoy great weather, free admission, and elite beach volleyball. The first 250 fans at the first match of each day will receive free Texas Longhorn sunglasses. Can't make it out? Watch it live on the Longhorn Network. Learn more at TexasLonghorns.com.
The Maps app that came with your phone? It's fine if you enjoy waiting and guessing and inefficient routes. Or you could use MapQuest. MapQuest is back with live directions, real-time traffic, and faster routes. It moves when you move. Best of all, no printer needed. No paper. No more missed turns. Just you and the app. Get there fast with MapQuest. Download the MapQuest app on the App Store or visit MapQuest.com. MapQuest, still getting you there.
Right now at Steel Round Rock GMC, the road to a new GMC has never been better. You get the Steel Standard, over $1,400 of protection for free, plus huge discounts, like $13,000 off 2026 GMC 1500s or $5,000 off 2026 GMC Canyons. We've also made it easier than ever to find a vehicle to fit your budget, like a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 lease for just $249 a month, because everything we do is driven by you. Steel GMC in Round Rock. GMC, we are professional grade.
Hey, it's Howie Mandel, and I am inviting you to witness history as me and my Howie Do It gaming team take on Gilly the King and Wallow 267's $1 million gaming right now at globalgamingleague.com. That's globalgamingleague.com.
Presented by Atlas Earth and Level Up Expo.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Your business deserves tools to make you feel in control, not overwhelmed. With Odoo's all-in-one, easy-to-use platform, everything is together so you can focus on what matters. Start at odoo.com today. That's ODOO.com.
Run, don't mosey. The Texas sale is on its specs. Cheers to savings.
The world's best bull riders. One shot, 8 seconds, no mercy. The rankest bulls in the sport are waiting. This is professional bull riding. Watch it live as we unleash the beast. Today from Albuquerque, only on Paramount Plus.
You know that water in our lakes is a precious resource that we can all work together as a community to save. Austin Water offers simple ways to use less and make a big impact around your home and yard. Find your watering day, explore rebates, and get more tips at austinwater.org.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert, or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry. This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Coach Sark here. Back to the Craig Way Show on your home for the Longhorns, 1300 The Zone.
Here on a Friday afternoon, college basketball never stops. Vanderbilt playing Notre Dame out in Fort Worth. This is Regional 1, remember, on the women's side, because in the women's bracket, there are sort of two hosting sites, both in Sacramento and Fort Worth. So this is UConn's region of the bracket in Fort Worth. And the score right now between Notre Dame and Vanderbilt, still in the underdog's favor. Notre Dame 43, Vanderbilt 36. They're at the under 5 media timeout in the third quarter. Hannah Hidalgo has 20 points to lead all scorers. Michaela Blakes, who is one of those Naismith Award finalists on the women's side, has 12 points. 8 of them, though, were coming at the free throw line. She is 2 for 16 shooting. Aubrey Galvan has picked up some of the slack for the Commodores with 15 points to lead their squad at the moment. But there's a potential upset brewing in the women's bracket. Taking a look at where these teams slot in on the bracket, this would be the team matching up with South Carolina's region in the Final Four, potentially. And UConn and North Carolina are awaiting the winner of this game. So Women's March Madness underway on this Friday afternoon. The games coming up later tonight include that UConn South Carolina game that I meant, UConn North Carolina game that I mentioned. That's a 1 versus 4. Same goes for UCLA, who will kick off the Sacramento Regional 2 at 6:30 tonight. Then at 9, what a blockbuster game this could shape up to be. Number 2 LSU taking on number 3 Duke. Yeah, the Blue Devils, one of the hottest teams in the country. An LSU Tiger squad that is going to be a tough out. They laid the beatdown on 7-seed Texas Tech in the last round, winning by a final score of 101-47. Their top 2 scorers outscored the Red Raiders' entire team. You know, in the era of the transfer portal, name, image, and likeness, it's been harder and harder for Cinderellas to advance out of the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. But maybe the norm now in weekend 2, the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, is a lot more parity. Matchups like we saw last night between Texas and Purdue. How about the game that went to the wire between Iowa and Nebraska? And Ben McCollum's team, the number 9 seed Hawkeyes, they take over the quote-unquote Cinderella label from Texas. We'll talk to Mike Hardball Hardge about some Longhorn baseball on the other side of this quick break. Hour number 2 underway next here on Sports Radio 1300 The Zone.
Are you ready for the madness? You know the type of madness I'm talking about at this time of year. Watching all of that outstanding postseason basketball. And are you happy with your home entertainment setup? Well, you've heard me tell you about my friend Tom McKay and Audiovisual Consultations, and that they're the best in the business when it comes to setting up your home entertainment system. However, Tom and his great staff at AV Consultations has expanded beyond TVs and home theater experiences. For example, they are now dealers and custom installers of Foresight golf simulators. So if you're wanting to improve your golf game, AV can get you hooked up with a Foresight simulator that can do the trick. AV Consultations now also offers full home and landscape lighting and automatic lighting control. But you're wanting to see those hoops light up this time of year, right? Give Tom and his staff a call at 512-255-8678 or find them at avconsultations.com. Let Tom McKay and Audiovisual Consultations help you realize the home entertainment
the
system
instant
of your
oatmeal,
dreams.
ready to help you tackle whatever your day brings, like wrangling your toddler into their car seat. That was fun. Coaching your 6th graders soccer team, little girls, and carrying all the groceries in one trip. Whew. Try Quaker Protein instant oatmeal, granola, and bars. Great taste and a good source of protein. Quaker, bring out the good.
Let me paint you a picture. It's midnight. Sirens blare. You have only seconds to grab your child and run. Now imagine you're elderly. Getting downstairs feels impossible. And after all of that, you end up in a bomb shelter for hours, even days, because you can't make that trek again. This is what's happening across Israel as Operation Epic Fury continues. Children are being traumatized. Families are exhausted. Homes have been destroyed. That's why the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is there on the ground, bringing food, emergency equipment, care for children, and help for the elderly, and supplying bomb shelters and medical centers with critically needed essentials. If you've ever wondered what it looks like to stand for Israel and stand for good against evil, this is it. Now, please act. Give $45 right now to rush life-saving essentials to the vulnerable under fire. Text the word SIREN to 91999 to make your donation. That's the word SIREN to 91999.
Pickleball is on the rise. 46.8 million players nationwide, with a projected $5 billion industry by 2033. Looking to be part of this exciting growth? Crush Yard offers a unique franchise opportunity, redefining the pickleball experience with indoor court, exceptional dining, craft drinks, and entertainment. This is your chance to invest in a rapidly growing brand shaping the future of leisure. For a limited time, you can own a piece of the action. Visit CrushYardFranchising.com to learn more. Crush Yard. Eat, drink, crush.
Hardge here, and it's March Madness at Cover Ford Hutto. This month, the savings are heating up, and the competition doesn't stand a chance. Right now, score $13,991 off MSRP on a new 2025 Ford F-150 Lightning Flash. Or drive away with a slam dunk and save $11,583 off of MSRP on a new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT. See dealer for details. Get championship-level trucks and SUVs backed by the legendary Covert Family Service. That's Covert Ford Hutto right off of 79 in Hutto. CoverForwardHutto.com.
Got a hot take?
Read the room.
Don't let it die in the group chat. Tap the red talkback mic on the iHeartRadio app and join the show.
Love the show, but I disagree with you guys.
It's the fastest way to get your voice on the air. Say it, send it, and hear it on the iHeartRadio app.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
From the Audiovisual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KBET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app. He's a Texas legend, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and your host of the Craig Way Show. Here he is now, Craig Way.
From UFCU Dishfog Field on the campus of the University of Texas, this is Texas Longhorns baseball from the right side. First pitch, and this one's lined into right field, and that ball is sinking. It will drop. Blair, the throw home, and not in time. It got by the catcher, Brock, and it's 2-0. Texas, and Becerra takes second on the play. There's 1-1, and that is lined into left field. He beat the ship. 2 runs are going to score, and the Longhorns lead it 4-0. They had the shift on the left side. He still found the hole. And what a start for Texas here in the bottom of the first inning. The 0-1 is back is up. And this ball's hit well. Left field, and you can't forget about it. Home run over the wall, over the bullpen, and there's the long ball for the Longhorns, and it's 14-0. So a runner at third here with 2 outs and a 2-2 count to Camden Johnson. Riojas, the stretch, and the 2-2. And that is strike 3 called. Longhorns win it. They run rule the Sooners. And for Riojas, a 7-inning complete game, and he caps it off with strikeouts 6 and 7. And the Longhorns have their 21st win. And for the moment, they're atop the SEC standings at 5-2.
14-0, the largest run rule victory for Texas over Oklahoma in that long-standing series. You heard Roger Wallace there on the call. My name's Jake Herman, in for Craig Way here on the show this afternoon. You know who else will be joining Roger on the call tonight? The host of the morning kickoff show right here on the Zone, Mike Hardball. Hardge, it's great to have you join us for a quick conversation now. How about that response from Texas baseball last night?
Thanks for having me, Jake. It's always good to talk about this. Yeah, what a great response from the Texas baseball team. You know, they had a bad taste in their mouth over the last couple weeks when it comes to the Tuesday night games, and even going into Friday nights in both of the SEC series, they hadn't been able to play well. I'll take that back. They've played well. They just didn't finish the deal out. Then they rebound and get things done. So for watching Texas last night and having that opportunity to bounce back against a rival, and you mentioned it, first time that this has been that lopsided in the series. So it's a big, big win for the Texas Longhorns, and now they have to go out and try to get it done again tonight.
Yeah, that's the key, right? Trying to find ways to close out games. I liked what Jim Schlossnagle said in his conversation with you and Mark on the show yesterday. 3 of the Longhorns' 4 losses were games that Texas basically had in hand. That can kind of make the record feel worse than it is, even though it's early.
No doubt about it. And also you have to maneuver around and see who you can trust in those situations to finally get it done. But it's early in the season. And, you know, he also mentioned, he was like, yeah, we only lost 4 games this year, you know, so it kind of puts that into perspective as well. But back to last night and getting the chance to rebound after that performance where they only had 3 hits in the game at Houston, they come back with a big 17-hit performance, go out and score a bunch of runs and you know, build that confidence in front of their home crowd.
Yeah, the Longhorns going to face an Oklahoma team that might come in a little bit angry after that 14-0 defeat yesterday. What are the keys for Luke Harrison in terms of keeping the Sooner bats quiet on the mound tonight? And what have you seen from him in his first 2 SEC starts that have gone pretty well?
Well, he just competes. I mean, he's a gamer. He's a guy that's got a lot of experience and understands what he needs to do time in and time out. He's not going to blow you away with any of his stuff, but the main thing that this Texas team on the defensive side has to be able to do is continue to pound the strike zone and let the defense make plays behind you. You can't defense a walk in a certain situation. So you just got to make sure he continues to go out there and be that bulldog, that number 2 starter, that calming force, but being very consistent is his key tonight.
The whole rotation, it feels like, is in a nice groove right now, Hardge, in terms of what Ruger Riojas has shown you on the mound this year. He is just continuing to add more and more weapons, and it feels like hitters are completely guessing against him right now.
Oh, no doubt about it. And it's interesting, too, because at the beginning of the season, you hear about Dylan Volantis going into the rotation, and your first thought is he's going to be the Friday night guy. Friday night guy is somebody that, you look to get set the tone for the rest of the weekend. But the news came out opening day that Ruger Riojas was going to get that first Friday night start. And all he's done has been dominant in every single one of his starts. Even when he struggled in that first one, he was able to not to get out of situations and be very, very consistent. He 62 strikeouts this year in like 37 and 2/3 innings, and being able to figure it out every step of the way. First complete game last night, albeit 7 innings, but he has been the model of consistency. And for him to get the Friday night nod this week, Thursday night, and be as consistent and as strong as he was yesterday, of course, with the run support, it makes it easy to go out there and throw the ball and be carefree with it.
Sure does. Riojas, the first complete game shutout for the Longhorns since Pete Hansen against TCU back in April of 2022. Talking to Mike Hardball, Hardge, we started this conversation talking Texas bullpen, and Schloss has said, right, different guys are going to get looks in different roles. Where do you think Sam Cozart might find his home in this Texas bullpen, which is kind of searching for answers right now?
Well, he's got some experience starting, so that kind of helps with the long relief. You hate for a situation to come out there where somebody has to come out of the game and you have to go to somebody to be able to do that. But Sam Cozart has earned the right. He's worked his behind off. And the most important things that a coach can look at is, can this guy throw strikes for me? He can get hit. There's going to be some times that he's going to get hit. But the one thing you can't do is walk a lot of people. And if he continues to pound the strike zone, he's going to get plenty of opportunities to settle into that first guy up when there's some trouble on the bases.
Hardge, in a couple of those midweek losses for Texas, right, the offense, the lineup, I should say, drew 7, 8 walks, just weren't able to come up with the type of clutch hits they needed, especially early in both the Tarleton game and the Houston game, to kind of get any kind of separation. Do you think it helped Texas last night as a lineup to see strikes early and just pounce on them?
Absolutely. I think anytime a guy is around the plate and you can make solid contact, I mean, it's important for that. You're not going to always get hits, but you got to have quality at bats. And if you continue to string along some quality at bats, those hits are going to fall in for you. You're going to have good swings at the pitch, and you're going to give yourself an opportunity to put some guys in motion to drive some runs in. That's what Texas was able to do. He was around the plate. They got some good pitches, and they drove the ball all over the ballpark. And it's been an impressive, let's just say like this, they play well at home, whatever it may be, the home cooking, comfortability, knowing the ballpark. But they lock in, and they've been doing really, really well hitting the baseball here at UFCU Disch Falk Field.
Sure have. And it might be a lot livelier there tonight. I know some fans were in the stands yesterday. Okay, Texas builds a big early lead. Time to pull out the phone and keep an eye on Texas men's basketball. I know you and Mark Henry had your eye on that game as well. Great breakdown of it on your show this morning. Just now that you've had some more time to think on it, what sticks with you about that performance from Texas last night, and how will you kind of remember this run that the Longhorns had over the last week and a half?
Yeah, there's so many different phases in the game that you can go back to and look at, but you got to start off with the ability for Jordan Pope to go out there, game time decision, and that's what everybody kept talking about, and then finding out after the game that he had played on a broken foot the last 5 minutes of the game against Gonzaga, hitting a big shot in the corner and helping the team out. But then you also look at, hey, he played 33 minutes last night, gave you 12 points with a broken foot. Newfound respect for him. His pain threshold is obviously through the roof, and now he's got to get that figured out. And then you look at what Tremont Mark was able to do, 29 points, shooting the ball well. I think he was like 11 of 15 from the field or something like that, and just leaving his, no pun intended, mark on that game. But then you also got to look at the strategic part of it. I think Coach Sean Miller saw a different part of his team from the play-in game to where they were 7.7 seconds away from either forcing overtime or winning that ball game, and they come up short. I think that is the development part of the coaching ability that Sean Miller has. And now we wait to see what he's going to do, either in the transfer portal, bringing guys back, and, of course, acclimating those freshmen that are going to be coming in, including the McDonald's All-American Austin Gooseby here at the University of Texas.
Yeah, it should definitely be an exciting summer. I know this is kind of an eye roll from some fans when you bring up the topic of the officiating, but I think you and I agree it was a little bit less than ideal at times last night. What kind of an impact do you think that may have had on the game? And did you think that Kaufman-Renn should have been called for a foul on that game-winning tip-in?
Jake, I was trying my best not to go there, Jake. I even prayed on it before you called me. I was like, don't bring up the officials. But God dog it, you didn't brought the officials up. And yes, I was not very happy with the way that the game was being officiated. I thought that you made a drastic change. Now, I know each officials are different from game to game to game. But if you look across the NCAA tournament, a lot of these guys were letting guys bang and letting guys play. And I thought that the way that they called the game did factor in how the game was ending, because both of those teams were going blow for blow. They were 16 lead changes, 10 ties. It was everything that you wanted in a Sweet 16 matchup. And I thought the officials were a little bit too much into the game. And yes, the last play of the game, I mean, you've seen every single angle you could possibly see. Yes, he had been hooking. He had been flopping. I wish that they would have called more flops in that game, because every time Purdue player got touched, you thought that somebody punched him in the throat. And I think that was the frustration with Modest. I think that was the frustration with Cam Heide. When these moments, you got to let the players decide the victory and the loss. And I thought that the officiating was a little sketchy a bunch of times last night.
Yeah, I'm with you. I thought they lost the plot a bit, and I think that seems to be a little bit of a theme in some of Purdue's NCAA tournament games over the last couple of years. But at the end of the day, right, Texas had its chances to still be able to come back and win the game, and it just didn't come together for them at the end last night. Well, we're looking forward to hearing you on the call later tonight, Hardge, and I know you and Roger Wallace will be hoping the Longhorns can win a series against the Sooners. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us on the show this afternoon.
Anytime, man. Appreciate you. Keep up the good work, man.
And you can hear Mike every morning with the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on The Zone. Let's take a quick break and then talk a little women's basketball next, right here on the Craig Way Show, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
It's draft week. Time to get ready for the picks, the predictions, and the party at Rowdy Cowboy. Join us Thursday, April 23rd at Rowdy Cowboy in Round Rock for a live special NFL draft show you won't want to miss. Mike Hardball Hardge and the Zone Gang will bring you expert analysis and bold takes as the future of the NFL unfolds. From the first pick to the surprises, we'll break it all down. The Zone's NFL Draft Show, Thursday, April 23rd, starting at 2 p.m. at Rowdy Cowboy in Round Rock.
Hello, everybody. How we doing?
Don't miss our 2026 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Streaming now on Hulu.
Taylor Swift's first awards show appearance this year.
Taylor Swift is here.
Miley Cyrus takes home the Innovator Award.
Miley Cyrus.
John Mellencamp wins the Icon Award.
Plus performances from Alex Warren,
Kehlani, Lady Wilson, Ray,
TLC, Salt and Pepper, In Vogue, and more.
All hosted by Ludacris.
You know what time it is.
Our 2026 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
News, now streaming on Hulu.
Let 24-Hour Fitness be the spring in your step to start the season off strong. Visit any of their clubs for 3 days free. Discover best-in-class equipment for toning up or trimming down, group exercise classes for every mood, and turf zones for jumping, pushing, and swinging. Cool down with a stretch, soak, session in the sauna, or check out Recovery 2-4, a new spa-inspired area to relax and recover. Try 24-Hour Fitness for free and find the workouts that work for you. Visit them in club or online at 24hourfitness.com. Photo ID and registration required. Restrictions apply. See clubs for hours and details.
Hey, Texas sports fans, Mike Hardge here, and it's time for Texas men's and women's basketball. Thomas J. Henry Law is thrilled to be part of the action with Texas basketball game broadcast. Just like the athletes give it their all on the court, Thomas J. Henry and over 250 attorneys give it their all when it comes to helping you and your families get the justice you deserve. Whether it's on the court or in the courtroom, dedication, strategy, and teamwork are crucial. For over 30 years, Thomas J. Henry Law has been committed to securing meaningful results for the injured people and their families. Visit tjhlaw.com or call 24/7 to get the help you need for you and your loved ones.
Are you running for office and have a message you want every voter in your district to hear? Well, that's where radio comes in. Radio is your direct line to morning commuters, midday grinders, and late nighters. Radio puts your message right where your voters are. Plus, it's 1/10 the time and cost of video. Don't just campaign. Connect with millions all over the country, even thousands in the smallest communities with radio. Call now and be on air in just 48 hours. 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang here from Las Culturistas, requesting your ears on our podcast.
Download and listen on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Steele Hyundai and Kyle is your destination for transparent pricing and customer value, plus the Steele Standard. We add over $1,400 in protection for free. Drive home a sleek new 2026 Hyundai Elantra SE lease for just $199 a month, or upgrade to the versatile 2026 Hyundai Tucson SE lease for only $259 a month. Plus, every new Hyundai comes back by America's Best Warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile, and owner assurance. Everything we do is driven by you. Steele Hyundai and Kyle or SteeleHyundaiKyle.com.
The Maps app that came with your phone? It's fine if you enjoy waiting and guessing and inefficient routes. Or you could use MapQuest. MapQuest is back with live directions, real-time traffic, and faster routes. It moves when you move. Best of all, no printer needed. No paper. No more missed turns. Just you and the app. Get there fast with MapQuest. Download the MapQuest app on the App Store or visit MapQuest.com. MapQuest, still getting you there.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, covering the 40 acres. It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
Well, the show goes on here on a Friday afternoon. Jake Herman in for Craig Way. Thank you to Mike Hardball Hardge. for taking some time to join us, talking some Longhorn baseball in the last segment. A little later in the show, you'll hear from Coach Jim Schlossnagle, his conversation on the field with Ty Harrington after the Longhorns' big-time bounce-back victory over Oklahoma last night. Meanwhile, it's time to focus on Texas women's basketball. The number 1 seed in the Fort Worth Region 3 is going to take on number 5 Kentucky. That number 5 seed line is deceiving, though. This Wildcat team, number 9 in the country, according to Torvik, which measures team efficiency, and they are playing some of their best basketball at the right time. They were the only 5 seed to get through a 4-5 matchup on a hostile environment, playing in Morgantown at West Virginia, hanging on to win 74-73 as the Mountaineers' last-second shot ricocheted off the rim. In that game, Tony Morgan with 15 points, Clara Strack had 18. Tiani Key scored 19 points for Kentucky, and that's been a hallmark for them all season long. A very balanced team with 5 players averaging in double figures. Clara Strack, last year's SEC Defensive Player of the Year, also averages a double-double with 17 points and 10 rebounds, in addition to 2.5 blocks and 1.5 steals. So her defensive effort, no joke. Texas got to experience this firsthand when these two teams met just under 2 months ago. It was a bit of a rock fight. Texas found a way to get the job done in a victory 64-53. It was a little bit of a closer game than that, with Kentucky trailing by 1 in the fourth quarter. So the Longhorns will have their work cut out for them against probably an underseeded number 5. And here's how Vic Schaefer opened his press conference in Fort Worth this morning in discussing the matchup and his team.
We're certainly excited to be here. My team is really special. They've really had a great year to replace 3 starters from our Final Four team a year ago, and for them to play the way they've played, responded this year during some just a little bit of tough times. They've played really well most of the year, from even back in November with the schedule that we had to trying to navigate the SEC schedule early, and then rebounding and have just played really, really well here the last month. So I couldn't be more proud of a group of young ladies. They are tough. They have played the game the right way. They've prepared every day. And it's been a real joy for me to see them and to see them grow and mature and learn to be accountable a little bit. And again, for me in coaching, it's more than just the X's and O's. And I'm really proud of this group because I've seen their growth. I've seen their wanting to be accountable, and man, they've got an incredible competitive spirit. So we know we've got a tough task at hand. 2 years in a row now, we've had to play an SEC team in the Sweet 16, one of our fellow teams from our league, and we certainly have Kentucky has our attention. A lot of respect for Coach Brooks' team and their staff. And so we're going to have to play really well tomorrow against them. So we've had a really good week, I think, for the most part. And again, I couldn't be more proud of a team. I love this group. They're a lot of fun to be around, and they've been really a lot of fun to coach.
And you can tell that when you watch this Texas team play. By the way, Longhorns are 79-7 all-time in games in which Madison Booker and Rory Harmon both play. That stat comes from Sydney Henderson of USA Today. Madison Booker was a little bit limited in the Longhorns' regular season win. That was back in early February against this Kentucky team, just 1 of 6. Kentucky had a good defensive game plan against her. But like Craig pointed out when we discussed this game on the show the other day, the Longhorns came into that game with some tired legs certainly playing a factor. Now, Kentucky, they didn't have their stars clicking at full strength either in this game, with Tiani Key just working her way back from an injury. Caroline Makauskas pointed that out when we spoke on Wednesday. the Lexington Herald Leaders women's basketball reporter. And if you want to hear that preview, the two of us breaking down Kentucky women's basketball and their road to the Sweet 16, that's available for you on your podcast page, wherever you listen to your podcast. And the iHeartRadio app makes that very easy if you don't already have it. The Wildcats, though, since that loss to, or I should say the Longhorns coming into that game against Kentucky, had played a very challenging stretch, including 3 games in 9 days, Florida, Oklahoma, and LSU leading in. And they got by maybe with a less than stellar day offensively, but Kentucky's defense certainly deserves a lot of credit for that. All the Wildcats have done since dropping that game against Texas, they've only lost to South Carolina and Vanderbilt. That's a 1 and a 2 seed. So this Kentucky team trying to prove that they can not only hang with the elite in the sport, but they can beat them. And they were close to doing so a couple times. You look at their game against Vanderbilt in late February, lost it by a final score of 81-69. That was a game that they led by a point with under a minute to go. South Carolina played them pretty tight in Lexington in the regular season finale. That was a 2-point game with 59 seconds to go before South Carolina got the key stops down the stretch and closed it out 60-56. So this Wildcat team, a little bit better than the number 5 line next to their name. Here was what Vic Schaefer had to say in terms of playing Kentucky again, what he's taking from that first matchup, and whether or not he prefers having a rematch.
It's 7 weeks ago when we played them, so I think they're a way different team. They're playing way better. I think we're different. We're playing pretty well too. So certainly I've looked at that film a couple different times. But, when you come from the Southeastern Conference and you have 10 teams in the tournament, it's just inevitable. I mean, you got Oklahoma and South Carolina playing each other. So it's really difficult to dodge it, to be quite honest. And so, it happens. And, again, we beat each other up for 19. We've played 19 SEC games this year, 16 in the regular season, 3 in the tournament. This will be number 20. I'd like to beat my head in against somebody else besides somebody in my own league, but it's the draw of the tournament. And, again, I think that speaks to our league and how good our league is. And you're going to have this happen. It might happen more than once. Last year it happened twice in the NCAA tournament. So it's just part of it. And again, it's inevitable.
Yeah, you think about Texas in its tournament run last year, running into the Tennessee Volunteers in the Sweet 16 before ultimately defeating Louisville in the Elite Eight, TCU in the Elite Eight, and moving all the way into that Final Four. Texas trying to take down a Kentucky team led by Coach Kenny Brooks, who, as a coach, has amassed over 600 wins. Over 700 wins. He led Virginia Tech to the Final Four back in 2023, and now he's got Kentucky into its first Sweet 16 in a decade. They had lost right at the buzzer last year in a similar spot. Kentucky basketball on the women's side had a lot of heartbreak in the round of 32. Now this team is maybe playing with a little bit of house money, Kentucky, and taking on an opponent that they've already seen this year in the form of the Texas Longhorns. There's not necessarily a comparison for Texas in the Big Ten. Maybe that's why Oregon, I think, struggled to take care of the ball here in Austin in that 1 versus 8 matchup, won handily by the Longhorns. The conversations Vic Schaefer has had with Kenny Brooks about family and the way that Vic Schaefer has enjoyed having his daughter Blair on his staff, that came up in this answer for Vic Schaefer when he was asked to reflect on his conversations and relationship with Kenny Brooks as it pertains to family.
Yeah, we've, Kenny and I have had some really unique and special conversations regarding family. He and I have both been through some really challenging and life-altering situations. He with his wife battling cancer, and me almost losing my son, who's the twin brother of Blair, who's on my staff. So, I think when you go through those kinds of things, it changes you, and it changes perspective sometimes. And it doesn't mean that he and I aren't any more passionate and intense with trying to do the job we have. But, for me, I can tell you when I've had a tough day or might get my rear end beat one night, it just takes one phone call to my son to hear his voice on the other end of a phone call, and it grounds me really quick. And so, for he and I, and again, it has been so special, first to have Blair play for me, a little bit 5'5", 5'6", ends up being on the all-defensive team in the SEC. There's only 5 of them. Probably she took 90 charges in her career. That means she probably got trucked about 200 times. Just tough as nails. Her and Sydney Carter, both on my staff, played for me. And both of them, probably the two of the toughest kids I've ever coached. And so it is special. And again, to see Blair's growth as a player in helping take us to back-to-back national championship games her junior and senior year to now having her on staff, she's earned her way in both situations. And so for me, I'm so fortunate because I got all my family in Austin. I get to see my son, my daughter, my wife. I could see them every day if I wanted to. And we still try to have family dinners, just like when they were in college. And so it is a really unique and I count it as a blessing. I mean, the good Lord, he has blessed me in so many different ways, and be able to coach with Blair, first coach her, now coach with her. What a blessing the good Lord's given me and our team, because she's really good at what she does. And I think that's the thing. She's thorough, and sometimes I look at her and I have to I ask her, man, she's with me till 2 a.m. at the SEC tournament before we're fixing to play. I think Ole Miss, because that was her scout. And I'm thinking, man, where does this kid get it? And then I'm realize who she gets it from. So it's a pretty special thing.
Really good perspective in the heat of a tournament prep week for head coach Vic Schaefer. We'll hear a little more from him later on in the show. We can tell you Notre Dame and Vanderbilt in the women's tournament going right down to the wire. 64-64, 25 seconds to go. Notre Dame just called timeout, and they'll have the basketball with a chance to grab a late lead. Maybe that game will be over when we come back from this break. And when we do, we will bring you some more notes from the Texas men's basketball team last night. This is AM 1300 The Zone.
It's Truck Month at Group 1 Ford of South Austin, where transparent pricing means no dealer add-ons. Get up to $16,000 off a 2025 F-150 or 0% for 60 months, or a brand new 2025 Ford Ranger for just $29,988. Group 1 Ford of South Austin, 5000 South I-35 Frontage Road, or Group 1 Ford of SouthAustin.com. Up to $60,000 off on select 2025 Ford F-150 models. Includes dealer discount, package discount, retail, and bonus cash. Not all customers qualify for 0%. 2025 Ford Ranger includes dealer discount, bonus customer cash, and TM bonus cash. Offer ends March 31st, 2026.
You'll use the radio in your car more than anything else. When buying a new car, make sure the AM/FM is simple, clear, and convenient.
It's getting wild on the court, and Specs has the assist to take this tournament to a legendary new level. You know the drill. Stock up on delicious finds for every tip-off, upset, and overtime thriller. When you score savings with Specs, it's nothing but net. Don't wait for the buzzer. Run the perfect play with Specs wines, spirits, and finer foods. The lowest prices in Texas.
The Global Gaming League is presented by Atlas Earth, the fun cashback app.
Hey, it's Howie Mandel, and I am inviting you to witness history as me and my Howie Do It gaming team take on Gilly the King and Wallow 267's $1 million gaming in an epic Global Gaming League video game showdown, plus a halftime performance by multi-platinum artist Travie McCoy. Watch all the action and see who wins and advances to the championship match right now at globalgamingleague.com. That's globalgamingleague.com.
RoutsOU.com.
In partnership with Level Up Expo.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-2013 or biglou.com.
AM 1300 The Zone occasionally holds contests. For more information about contests on this station, go to am1300thezone.com/rules.
I'm Daniel Alarcon. I'm John Green, co-host of the podcast The Away End with my old friend Daniel. I remember the first time I took my oldest son to an actual live soccer game. And when you step out through the concourse and you can see the field, he did like that, like a sharp intake of breath. And he said, "This is so unusual for my eyes." Oh, I love that. Together, we'll find out why, of all the unimportant things, football, soccer is the most important. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search The Away End with Daniel Alarcon and John Green, and listen now.
iHeartRadio brings you New to View, Streaming Edition.
Looking for something to watch? Listen up. Next week on Netflix, Tuesday, the debut of the documentary film Untold, The Death and Life of Lamar Odom. The streaming premiere of the film 28 years later, The Bone Temple, as well as the stand-up special Aaron Chen, Funny Garden. Next Wednesday on Netflix, the Season 4 start of Love on the Spectrum. Next Thursday, the Season 3 launch of the Netflix teen romance XO Kitty. Next Friday on Netflix, the debut of the documentary film The Truth and Tragedy of Moira Wilson. Next Monday on Hulu, the second season finale of the hit show Paradise. Next Wednesday on Hulu, the U.S. premiere of the action drama series Atomic. Next Friday on Hulu, the debut of the comedy film Pizza Movie. Next Friday over on Peacock, the streaming launch of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Next Monday on Amazon Prime Video, the launch of the documentary film Rory McIlroy, The Masters Weight. Next Tuesday on Paramount Plus, a new season start of the show FBI True. Next Friday on Apple TV, the second season debut of the dramedy Your Friends and Neighbors, starring John Hamm. And next Saturday on Paramount Plus, the start of the docuseries Made for March.
And that's New to View on iHeartRadio. Happy binging.
If it's Texas sports, Craig Way knows all. Back to the Craig Way Show on 1300 The Zone. And we're back to the Craig Way Show. Have a message for Craig? Share it by using the TalkBack feature on the iHeartRadio app.
Take control of me. You're messing with the enemy, said it's true. It's another trick. Messing with my mind, I wake up, chase down an empty street. Blind and snap the broken beat, said it's gone with the dirty trick. It's taking all these days to find you. I'll tell you I want you. I'll tell you I need you.
The British band Kasabian. Here's Clubfoot bringing us back on a Fire Me Up Friday edition of the Craig Way Show. Chose this return cut, Clubfoot, because it came out after the game last night. The heartbreaking, 79-77 loss for Texas at the hands of Purdue. Came out that Jordan Pope played this game with a broken foot. Yeah, a clean break. He says he suffered in the final 5 minutes of the game against the Gonzaga Bulldogs in the round of 32. This is mind-boggling. And like Jason Kinander told us in the first hour of the show today, 90% of the time, maybe 95, you're sitting out. Whether it's just a regular season game, this is a season-ending injury for a lot of guys. Not Jordan Pope, who had the opportunity to play at home, just about an hour away from his hometown of Oakley, California, trying to keep his Longhorn career going, trying to keep his team season alive. And, for a guy playing with a broken foot, it's pretty impressive that he logged 33 minutes in this game, knocked down 4 critical threes, had 1 assist, 0 turnovers, only committed 1 foul, despite not being at 100% in terms of mobility. So Jordan Pope was asked about first what it meant to play at home after the loss last night.
It meant a lot, a moment that I'm sure I'll remember for the rest of my life, something that's a lot bigger than myself and my play. Just being able to go out there and fight and battle with my teammates, my coaching staff, and just give it my best and live with the results. And that's what we did tonight. We played really hard, played to the best of our capabilities, and we came up short. But this is something I'll remember regardless of the outcome, given, Sweet 16, the way we played, family and friends in the crowd. I couldn't have asked for anything better. And I'm just proud of myself, proud of my teammates for having my back.
Next, Pope was asked, was his status truly up in the air, as it had been reported throughout the week, as a game-time decision with what the team just called a lower leg injury?
It was definitely up in the air. I think I could clear the air now. 5 minutes left against Gonzaga. I broke my foot, a complete break. So it was definitely tough. I'm not sure a lot of guys would have went out there and played, but, credit to my training staff, Warren and our doctor. They did a lot of, work the last, 4 days, 24/7, giving me treatment, just giving me a chance to really, be questionable for the game. And so just credit to those guys. They got me ready. And thankfully I was able to go out there and play. I felt good somehow. And I had a lot of fun. I thank the Lord that I was able to get through that.
Was Pope worried about further injury playing on that cleanly broken foot?
After conversations with the doctor, I couldn't break it anymore. So there wasn't, much of a high risk in terms of the actual injury. Obviously, you could hurt other things, but I had nothing to lose. It was a Sweet 16. I'm back home in front of my family. I'm playing for my teammates, my coaches. I'll never have this opportunity again. I couldn't let that pass. I think I would have regretted that a lot if I would have. So thankfully, like I said, I was able to get out there and give ourselves a chance to make an Elite Eight.
Not a lot of guys have done this in the sport of basketball. How did Pope just physically get the broken foot ready for play? What work was done behind the scenes? It was a good follow-up question asked by the reporters.
A lot of, bone therapy. The thing is just to keep the swelling down because it was going to hurt. It was a break. There was no fixing that. But just being able to get the swelling down, which will help ease the pain a bit and just make it tolerable. And, like I said, our staff was able to do that, did a great job, unbelievable job. And somehow I was able to get out there and play. And again, I'm thankful. I couldn't have asked for a better team, staff to have my back and to trust me and to make sure I'm good to go.
Another Longhorn who played through pain in the loss last night was Tremont Mark, whose ankle turned awkwardly after he was fouled on a three-point shot. Fletcher Lawyer from Purdue kind of got in his landing space on that three-point jumper. That's why they call it a foul in basketball. It's certainly a dangerous play, and Mark turned his ankle, was wincing noticeably throughout the second half of the game. He was asked about his decision to gut it out and play through some obvious pain.
Being a competitor, just being a competitor, wanting to play and wanting to advance with my teammates, wanting to keep this thing going, want to have another practice, film session, all that type of stuff that we get to do if we would have won. But, just being a competitor, I was on a hobbled ankle, but I'm just thankful that I was still able to go out there and produce and do things for my team and give us a chance to win. And that's all I can ask for.
Good to hear there from a couple of Longhorn players whose legacies, no doubt, are looking a lot different after the last week and a half. Guys who really laid it out there to provide a memorable couple of weeks and a potential launching point for Sean Miller in his first season at the helm. We're going to take a quick break and wrap up our second hour of the program with Inconceivable, on a Florida Man Friday. 1 hour later, but I promise it'll be worth the wait. This is Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
Watch the best cornhole players in the world compete for the crown at the ACL Kansas City Signature Open. After intense competition, the top 4 players go head-to-head on ESPN2. Doubles airs Saturday, March 28th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Singles airs Sunday, March 29th at 6 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss the action as the game's best battle for the title. The ACL Kansas City Signature Open, all on ESPN2.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
Austin, San Antonio, and St. Louis.
You know that water in our lakes is a precious resource that we can all work together as a community to save. Austin Water offers simple ways to use less and make a big impact around your home and yard. Find your watering day, explore rebates, and get more tips at austinwater.org.
Before smartphones, there was MapQuest. Before GPS, there was MapQuest. Before Google Maps, there was MapQuest. And guess what? MapQuest is back. Now on your phone. No printer required. Download the MapQuest app on the App Store or visit mapquest.com.
Right now at Steel Round Rock GMC, the road to a new GMC has never been better. You get the Steel Standard, over $1,400 of protection for free, plus huge discounts, like $13,000 off 2026 GMC 1500s or $5,000 off 2026 GMC Canyons. We've also made it easier than ever to find a vehicle to fit your budget, like a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 lease for just $249 a month, because everything we do is driven by you. Steel GMC in Round Rock. GMC, we are professional grade.
Whether it's day or night, hot flashes due to menopause can be unpredictable. That's why there's Veoza, a prescription treatment proven to reduce the number and severity of hot flashes day and night that can start working in as early as 1 week. Based on clinical studies measuring efficacy at 4 and 12 weeks, individual results may vary. Talk to your healthcare provider about what this may mean for you. For moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms or hot flashes and night sweats due to menopause, Veoza can cause serious side effects, including liver problems. Your doctor will do blood tests before and during treatment. Stop Veoza and call your doctor if you have symptoms of liver problems, such as feeling more tired than usual, decreased appetite, nausea, vomiting, itching, yellowing of the eyes or skin, pale stool, dark urine, or stomach pain. Don't use Veoza if you have cirrhosis, severe kidney problems, kidney failure, or take CYP1A2 inhibitors. Ask your doctor about Veoza. To learn more, call 1-866-239-1637 or go to Veoza.com. That's VEOZAH.com.
TrueGreen, the easiest way to get a golf course quality lawn. Don't wait. Sign up at TrueGreen.com and get your first application for $9.95. TrueGreen, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. Let the pros do the work so you can enjoy your weekend. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
You ever wonder how far an EV can take you on one charge? Well, most people drive about 40 miles a day, which means you can do all daily stuff no problem. Go to work, grab the kids at school, get the groceries, and still have enough charge to visit your in-laws in the next county. But they don't need to know that. And the best part, you won't have to buy gas at all. The way forward is electric. Explore EVs that fit your life at electricforall.org.
Meet iPhone 17e. A whole lot for a lot less. With an almighty, all-powerful A19 chip and Ceramic Shield 2 built to survive this and this. And a 48-megapixel fusion camera with 2x optical quality zoom and next-gen portraits. And double the starting storage of iPhone 16e. And long-lasting battery life for hours of watching the studio. That's the dream! And it comes with Apple Intelligence. And you can charge it with USB-C or with MagSafe accessories. And a whole lot more, all for a lot less. Get the new iPhone 17e at AT&T today.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Pop Rewind, hit music from the 2000s through today. Pink, Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, Bruno Mars, Imagine Dragons, and more. I'm in love with the shape of you. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search Pop Rewind, and listen now. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. Hook 'em horns.
On a Friday during the Craig Way Show. By the way, Craig will be back on the show next week. He is currently en route back from San Jose here to Austin. He'll have a quick turnaround to get to Fort Worth and be ready to call the women's basketball along with Kathy Harston tomorrow afternoon. It always means the same thing on Fridays, and that is a trip down to grab the low-hanging fruit in Florida in the form of Florida Man Stories, where the headline is often wilder than the story. We've got 3 stories for you today in the inconceivable file, and I think they go in increasing degrees of absurdity. Number 1, Florida man risks body to protect car in hailstorm. When a sudden burst of heavy hail, according to the Weather Channel, hit Palm Bay, Florida yesterday, a man jumped on top of his car to protect the sunroof. First of all, that's pretty impressive clearance. Got some Kendall Weaver hops there, the ability to float through the air and stick the landing. Well, the Weather Channel says, we do not recommend trying this at home. The man later confirmed that, yes, it hurt. That's great journalism right there. Jumping on the roof of your car to prevent hail damage. That is, what's the old saying there? Killing the whole garden to root out the weeds. Florida man putting his body on the line, much to the amusement, ABC News reports from his neighbors. I'm not seeing a name here or much about this guy. Maybe that is by design. The video making the rounds on TikTok. For one Florida man, it meant time to show off the vertical. Hey, at least he didn't leave a dent. There we go. According to the reporting from Fox 13 News, the Palm Bay resident's name, Manny Rosado, who decided using his own body was the best way to protect his car. I'd rather go down trying, he said, adding that just 2 years ago, people he knew were dealing with serious hail damage in the $3,000 to $5,000 range. At that point, it starts to feel less like a stunt and more like a very aggressive form of risk management. Not all heroes wear capes, folks. And was not letting the hail get to the car, using himself as a human shield. Okay, our next story in Florida. Hopefully the weather was better. In South Florida, a man rode his horse into a Chick-fil-A drive-thru in a viral moment amid rising gas costs. Felipe de la Mora posted the footage on a camera mounted to his glasses, said that his pit stop happened on a whim. He was on his way back home from a ride on his horse. He got thirsty, so he stopped through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru and had an amazing interaction with the employees. The fast food crew was seen excited when their new customer trotted in. What would you do at Chick-fil-A, or any drive-thru for that matter? Somebody's in front of you on a horse. Just be careful not to run over any leftovers that be seen. Mora rode his horse named Gitano regularly due to high gas prices. Not the first time he's been spotted doing it. Other videos on his TikTok page show him using his horse for school pickup, running errands around town, or just riding for leisure. So who knows what kind of crazy drive-through hijinks you're going to see next. Although it'd be counterintuitive to spend some money on a drive-through drink if you're trying to save on gas. Anyway, I digress there. Perhaps this last Florida man of today's inconceivable file should have saved money on gas and ridden his horse instead of driving, because this Florida man, in a story that broke early this morning, confessed to doing, quote, all kinds of drugs after crashing his Mustang through an airport gate and trying to board planes. Yeah, this is a story. Brian J. Parker was cuffed after he allegedly crashed through a federally regulated lock gate at Daytona Beach International Airport while highly intoxicated on Wednesday afternoon, according to the Volusia County Sheriff's Department. He tried to board multiple planes after driving his Ford Mustang allegedly through the gate and across an active taxiway, ditching his car at the Beach International Airport, according to Fox 35. The attempted plane jacker nearly hit a student training plane on the taxiway during this incident, which happened over the course of 4 minutes. This is a speed run of stupidity. Deputies and airport officials were seen wrangling the barefoot Parker. No, not Cameron Parker. I don't think. As he told cops that he couldn't remember what happened. I don't remember. I was at my house. I went to an AA meeting, and the next thing I know, he's doing all sorts of drugs. Anyhow, the Florida Man Friday stories, a little bit unhinged on this last Friday of March. That's our inconceivable file. I told you it'd be worth the wait here in our third hour of today's show. And we told you we were tracking the ending of Vanderbilt and Vanderbilt Notre Dame in the women's bracket. And the Fighting Irish behind a game-winning assist from Hannah Hidalgo, who drew a double team, delivered the game-winning pass. Notre Dame beats Vanderbilt 67-64. Another 2-seed has gone down in the women's bracket. And Notre Dame's run as a number 16 into the Elite Eight continues. Hey, remember when Texas did that? It was Vic Schaefer's first or second season. Boys went to the Elite Eight in San Antonio before falling short against South Carolina. Hannah Hidalgo and Notre Dame are moving on. And the Vanderbilt Commodores, one of the big breakout stories of the season under Shea Ralph, they are going home. So that's it for game number 1 of the women's bracket today. That's also it for hour number 2 of our show. We've got much more to come. Sound bites from Sean Miller, our highlight montage. Yes, a montage, even though the game ended in heartbreak for Texas. And a few more notes from Vic Schaefer. Plus, we're talking rest of the Sweet 16 and hearing Jim Schlossnagle's conversation with Ty Harrington after last night's game. That's coming up here on the Craig Way Show, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone.
If you care about predictions, you care about props. And now that the tournament field is down to 16, every possession matters. BetOnline has always been the home of real sports wagering, deep markets, sharp odds, and player props. And this round, BetOnline is offering an updated new $50,000 bracket contest. A fresh bracket, a fresh shot, $50,000 on the line. It's no longer about guessing. It's about knowing. BetOnline gives you the edge when it matters most. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Hey guys, I'm Erin. And I'm Elena from Round Rock's newest and soon to be best sports bar, Rowdy Cowboy. We have a Texas-sized menu with everything from handmade onion rings to choice steaks, 32 ice-cold draft beers and craft cocktails, plus 69 big screen TVs. If that's not enough, how about the hottest Rowdy Cowgirls in Texas? So saddle up and hit the trail to Rowdy Cowboy, located off I-35 north of Loop 45 in Round Rock. And help us get rowdy.
The world's best bull riders. 1 shot, 8 seconds, no mercy. The rankest bulls in the sport are waiting. This is professional bull riding. Watch it live as we unleash the beast. Today from Albuquerque, only on Paramount Plus.
I told you the other day that work productivity was going to be bad. The boss walks in, how's the reporting coming? You? Oh yeah, the numbers look great. Meanwhile, you got the game streaming on one tab and another on your phone. And your bracket, yeah, it's cooked. But at least after work, you can clock and count in on an ice-cold Bud Light. Because Bud Light is the official domestic beer of Texas basketball. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Please enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring a check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated. So don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart. Just complete the purchase. Hurry. This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
This is TV's Dr. Travis Stork for Eggland's Best Eggs. Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm fresh taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Texas Beach Volleyball is back in Austin as the Longhorns open their home season at the Texas Invitational. The Longhorns will host some of the top teams in the country, including number 1 UCLA and number 2 Stanford on Friday, March 27th. The action continues Saturday, March 28th with matches against Long Beach State and USC. Come enjoy great weather, free admission, and elite beach volleyball. The first 250 fans at the first match of each day will receive free Texas Longhorn sunglasses. Can't make it out? Watch it live on the Longhorn Network. Learn more at TexasLonghorns.com.
Craig here with Dan Christensen of DJC Law. Injuries can occur anywhere, not only on the field. So if you've been injured by someone's negligence, don't fight alone. Call the team at DJC Law, the GOATs of personal injury.
That's right, Craig. At DJC Law, we fight hard to represent injury victims and get them the compensation they deserve.
Call DJC Law today at 512-888-9999. That's 512-888-9999. Or go to teamjustice.com. Principal Office, Austin, Texas.
Got a thought?
Just wanted to chime in.
No hold times here.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Tap the red talkback mic on the iHeartRadio app and send us a voice note instantly.
I do agree with that guess.
A stress-free way to join the convo in your own time. Try it now on the free iHeartRadio app.
From the Audio-Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KVET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the number 1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app. It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
From SAP Center in San Jose, California, it's the NCAA Sweet 16, the West Regional Semifinals between the Texas Longhorns and the Purdue Boilermakers. Nick Cody to shoot a 3. Good! Cody knocks it down. He was an 8% three-point shooter coming into this game. And Texas leads by 4. Well, it's going to take everybody tonight. Tremont, he guarded tightly, swings to the right side, driving to the baseline, rises up, shoots, scores, and he's fouled. He went up in the air, really elevated up, and got the foul against Jakari Harris into the front court. Dalen trying to weave through some traffic. Goes around traffic off the glass too high, but there's Kendall Weaver for a follow slam.
That's what he gives you, just energy off the bench, hustle plays, he never stops.
Tremont Mark has it with that ankle taped pretty heavily. Trying to work in the paint, spins, turns, shoots, and he coaxes its way in.
Boy, great touch on that shot.
21 points for Tremont Mark, who has surpassed 2,000 for his career, and Texas leads by 3, 55-52. 8 on the shot clock. Longhorns must get a stop here. 2:15 to go. To the left side. Smith driving. Baseline, got around traffic. Shot rejected. And the shot clock expired. And now 1:10 on the game clock. Dalen has it. 6 to shoot. Swain trying to drive on Clough. Goes to the right. Down to 3. 2. Turnaround. Shot rattled in. And then it was tipped in. Kendall Weaver tipped it in. Sean Miller was about 10 feet on the floor asking for a timeout, and he gets it called. It's a 1-point game with 59.5 remaining. Purdue is up 3 with 19.4 to go. Into the front court, Dalen Swain goes to the left side, goes around traffic, drives in, goes reverse side, it's good, and he's fouled! He's fouled! He went reverse side, and he was fouled, I believe, by Lawyer. He'll have a chance to tie it. The foul, I believe, actually is going to be on Clough, and that's his 5th. Here's Braden Smith. 7 seconds left. Smith to the right side, trying to drive past Weaver, puts it up. It is no good. Tip up is in with 0.7 to go. Longhorns and no timeouts left. 0.7 left. Inbounded. Pope launches from 70. No good. And the season ends in heartbreak. The Longhorns defended Smith well on the baseline. Kendall Weaver in the matchup. The shot went off, and the ball was tipped in by Trey Kaufman-Wren. And the Purdue Boilermakers do survive the Texas Longhorns and advance to the Elite Eight, 79-77.
Boy, the Longhorns gave them everything they had last night. They really, really did. And the cruelty and yet the beauty of March Madness as we welcome you back for hour number 3 of the Craig Way Show. My name's Jake Herman, filling in for the Hall of Famer and the voice of the Longhorns, who was en route from San Jose back here to the Lone Star State. You heard his voice there along with Eddie Orrin on the call of the montage last night. The beauty of the cruelty of March Madness is this. You ask any Texas fan, anywhere, 2.5 weeks ago, after the Longhorns lost to Ole Miss in the first round of the SEC tournament, even earlier than that when the Longhorns were floating around on the bubble, and you ask them, okay, it's going to be down to the wire. It's going to be tied in the closing seconds in the Sweet 16 against the Big Ten champs. Every single Longhorn fan and every person in the program, injuries and all, foul trouble and all, would sign up for it. And yet it didn't go Texas's way in last night's game, a 79-77 final score. Purdue moves on to face Arizona in the Elite Eight. We're going to hear some thoughts from Sean Miller here in this segment, including a topic of personnel. You know, in the round of 32 against Gonzaga, Sean Miller was rightfully applauded for bringing a struggling Cam Heide off the bench and into the game to help hit the game-sealing three-point dagger in that near corner, a shot that will live on in Longhorn lore for quite some time, even though it didn't lead to a Final Four here in year number 1 for this 25-26 Texas team. So Sean Miller had to get a lineup on the floor to defend on the final possession of the game. And it didn't include center Modest Vokatitis, and it's getting some scrutiny in hindsight after Trey Kaufman-Renn, like you heard on the highlight montage, tipped in the game-winning shot over Dalen Swain. Might have gotten away with a little hooking and pushing in the back, but it was a borderline call. I'm all for calling fouls at the end of the game. If it's a foul at the end of the first half, it should be a foul at the end of the second half too. But I'm not so sure that one's getting called in any situation. It was really close either way. And at the end of the game, you expect the benefit of the doubt to go to letting the players decide the game. And I get that by not making a call, you're deciding the game too. But I'm not sure that particular play, there was enough to call a foul on Trey Kaufman-Renn. He didn't quite fully extend his arm, push Dalen Swain out of the way. Still a tough thing to look at if you're a Texas fan when you look at the way Kaufman-Renn kind of hooked underneath of Dalen's arm. And maybe if Swain flails his arms demonstratively and falls to the deck like Kaufman-Renn did a handful of times in the ballgame, and maybe he puts the referee under pressure to make the call there. But Dalen didn't do that. He was competing for the rebound, just got out-muscled on that last play of the game after Swain did a great job tying it up for Texas with 11 seconds to go. So Sean Miller was asked why Modest Vokatitis was taken out of the game late. I'll have my thoughts on this. First, want to let you hear it from the head coach himself.
Well, the big fella, Clough, fouled out. So Renn would have played the 5. And he just a really difficult matchup for a game-winning play, especially from Modest. You know, I think a strong drive, putting him in a position to do that, and Modest having 4 fouls on top of that, it had not worked out very well for us in the game. So by playing quicker or smaller, we could switch that and really defend the drive in a better fashion, because Modest can't really switch. Like, you can't put Modest on Braden Smith on a switch. So look, we did get the stop. They got us with their size on the offensive rebound. And many times a game is won and lost, not on the first shot, but on the second. And we could have done a better job of blocking out or competing. But the number one thing for us to have a chance today was to rebound with Purdue. And if you look at the stat sheet, it became about even. But I just felt like we really, really struggled to rebound on defense. You know, in the first half especially, they just got a bunch of second shots, and ironically, they ended up winning the game with their second shots. They're big and physical, and we really felt that throughout the game.
And, Texas had the matchup they wanted, like Craig and Eddie pointed out, with Kendall Weaver guarding the ball and Braden Smith. And that was important because Tremont Mark, you saw him commit kind of one of those fatigue fouls late in the game. How could you blame the guy? He's playing on a bad ankle that he sprained earlier in the half and had plenty of time to stiffen up during all those lengthy reviews in the second half of the game. Jordan Pope had done a pretty good job on Smith in this game as well, but Texas had Kendall Weaver on Braden Smith in this last second shot. And watching this replay back, Dalen Swain had the task in isolation with Trey Kaufman-Renn. He gets a little bit jostled around under the basket. TKR reaches over, pokes it in, and gives Purdue the win. But on that subject of fighting through injury, like a couple of the Longhorns were, heck, even Nick Cody walked off a little gingerly at one point during the contest. What did it mean to Sean Miller to see his players fight through that adversity? You heard Jordan Pope playing with the broken foot as we closed out the last hour of the show. Tremont Mark playing on the bad ankle. What did it mean to Sean Miller to see the growth of his team and the heart they left out there fighting through injury?
Yeah, in the first year at the University of Texas, there's so many different things that you hope to accomplish. You want to go, first of all, as far as you can, and hopefully it's in this tournament. But, I think the bigger picture is really just trying to instill a way of doing things, a way of practicing, how we compete in games, a style of play, and allow everybody to kind of feel it, see it, hopefully grow and improve while they're doing it and get to a good place, which I think sets a great tone for the future. And really all of that came true through these guys' effort. Watching us kind of evolve and grow through the year, it has never been easy for us ever. And there were so many different times through the season where it looked like, man, if they don't get this next one, they're in trouble. And we just found a way to get that next one or stayed the course. And that also was true at the very end of our season. We played a difficult schedule, played against two really good SEC teams that were playing great basketball, Oklahoma and Ole Miss, lost to both of them. And again, it was the moment of truth for us, but we bounced back in a big way. And I would say Purdue would probably shake their head when I said this, but tonight's game could have gone either way. And, we played at a very, very high level the last couple of weeks, gave ourselves a chance to compete for a Final Four. But when you see Jordan Pope sacrifice, Tremont Mark sacrifice, so many different guys do that, I think it's a great sign that they really grew and cared about each other. They cared about the University of Texas. And that's really what all of us try to do as a coach. So one final comment I gave those guys in the locker room is there'll come a day when I believe everybody in that locker room will watch us at Texas take this next step. And in large part, when we do, a big reason is the tone that they set in our first year. I think there's a lot of good things that have happened.
You heard Sean Miller there alluding to the comments he made in the locker room to the guys after the game. And the Texas men's basketball X account shared this afterwards. And before we hear more from Sean in the press conference, I want you to hear his message to the guys in the locker room after the game.
Again, I want to stamp this. I've never been more proud to be a part of a team, a coach of a team. I don't know if I've had a group that's ever come further in a short period of time than what we did. And we were playing at the highest level of college basketball. The difference between us playing Arizona for Final Four and Purdue is a matter of about 3 plays. All right? And nobody here should hang their head. The fight we fought is the one that I always want to be a part of. Always. And you guys set the tone for a very, very bright future. Not only for yourself, but for this program moving forward. And I'm forever grateful. I mean that. Okay? I appreciate you guys. You have given us everything. It's never been easy. Nobody ever gave us shit. We've been resilient from the start. But I'll tell you, man, everybody in here should really feel great about what we were able to become.
All right.
Yeah, really good message there from Coach Miller. I think putting everything in perspective, and you should know, obviously, you're listening to it on radio. If you go to the clip on at Texas men's basketball on Twitter, you can see he's looking right at Jordan Pope when he says, "You gave us everything." And in the case of Pope last night, he really did. You'll hear Sean Miller reflect a little bit on Pope's career and talk a little bit more about how the fouling impacted things in the game right after this on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone as we continue to recap Texas's Sweet 16 loss on the men's side to Purdue.
Draft day is coming. Time to get ready for the picks, the predictions, and the party at Rowdy Cowboy. Join us Thursday, April 23rd at Rowdy Cowboy in Round Rock for a live special NFL draft show you won't want to miss. Like Hardball Hardge and the Zone Gang will bring you expert analysis and bold takes as the future of the NFL unfolds. From the first pick to the surprises, we'll break it all down. The Zone's NFL Draft Show, Thursday, April 23rd, starting at 2 p.m. at Rowdy Cowboy in Round Rock.
It's getting wild on the court, and Specs has the assist to take this tournament to a legendary new level. You know the drill. Stock up on delicious finds for every tip-off, upset, and overtime thriller. When you score savings with Specs, it's nothing but net. Don't wait for the buzzer. Run the perfect play with Specs wines, spirits, and finer foods. The lowest prices in Texas.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching fever under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang here from Las Culturistas requesting your ears on our podcast.
Download and listen on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Before smartphones, there was MapQuest. Before GPS, there was MapQuest. Before Google Maps, there was MapQuest. And guess what? MapQuest is back. Now on your phone. No printer required. Download the MapQuest app on the App Store or visit mapquest.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Steele Hyundai in Kyle is your destination for transparent pricing and customer value, plus the Steele Standard. We add over $1,400 in protection for free. Drive home a sleek new 2026 Hyundai Elantra SE lease for just $199 a month, or upgrade to the versatile 2026 Hyundai Tucson SE lease for only $259 a month. Plus, every new Hyundai comes backed by America's Best Warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile, and owner assurance. Everything we do is driven by you. Steele Hyundai in Kyle or SteeleHyundaiKyle.com.
Are you running for office and have a message you want every voter in your district to hear? Well, that's where radio comes in. Radio is your direct line to morning commuters, midday grinders, and late nighters. Radio puts your message right where your voters are. Plus, it's 1/10 the time and cost of video. Don't just campaign. Connect with millions all over the country, even thousands in the smallest communities with radio. Be on the air in just 48 hours. Visit winwithiheart.com. That's winwithiheart.com.
From the Odoo.com Traffic Center, Odoo.com, the only business software you will need.
71 westbound at 183, we have an accident reported with a 4-minute delay. On Mopac southbound between Northland Drive and Cesar Chavez Street, we have some stop-and-go traffic with a 12-minute delay. I'm Alexis with a look at your Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by True Green. True Green, the easiest way to get a golf course quality lawn. Don't wait. Sign up at TrueGreen.com and get your first application for $9.95. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. Let the pros do the work works so you can enjoy your weekend. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
We all use AI, but here, it never pretends it's real. AM 1300 The Zone. Guaranteed human.
Even after a loss, we bring you a Fire Me Up Friday edition of the Craig Way Show. Jake Herman in for Craig Way, who was on his way back from San Jose. Appreciate you listening with us. Earlier this afternoon, we spoke with Mike Hardge, a preview of Texas baseball and their matchup with Oklahoma tonight at the Dish. We gave away some tickets to that on the show throughout the week. And for those of you that are going, we hope you make it a great atmosphere for Texas as they try and win a series, win another top 10 SEC series over OU. Certainly got off to a good start last night with a 14-0 run rule victory, a complete game shutout for Ruger Riojas, 14 runs on 17 hits for Texas, who scored multiple runs in 3 of the first 4 innings. After the game, Jim Schlossnagle right here on the Zone with Ty Harrington.
We got a lot to unpack here. Let's start with the offense first. You guys coming out of Tuesday night's game where your offense maybe not what you guys had hoped for, but you guys have been unreal all year long after one game, turning the page and moving to the next game.
Yeah, thank goodness, because 3 of those 4 losses have been really tough to swallow, having leads at the end of the games. And so really proud of the guys, the opening day mentality. We got a lot of 2-out hits, in that first inning against a good pitcher. And tonight was kind of our night. The balls we hit hard fell in, and the balls we didn't fell in too. So new day tomorrow.
All right, let's start on the pitching side of it now. Ruger Riojas, then go back out in the 7th. Short day, short rest, 1 day short going into it, but you had a little bit of a cushion to let him go. Talk about his performance tonight.
I didn't think he was absolutely at his best, but he was certainly good enough. He landed his off-speed pitches, had just enough fastball. He had better fastball at the end of the game than he did at the beginning of the game. And those long innings, I think, affected him. I was going to give him a chance to, finish the 7-inning game. We had, if one more hitter would have come up, we would have made a change. But now he gets a full week of rest before next Thursday.
A lot of offense out there, and this is a compliment. I'm going to try to phrase it the right way. Ethan Mendoza hasn't been as good as what everybody's accustomed to being, or him being, but he's 0 for 4 going into and then he gets a chance to get up there. In my mind, I'm thinking that guy was probably waiting in the dugout, couldn't get the home plate quick enough.
Yeah, he's had a really good week of work. That double he hit down the right field line in Houston the other night looked more like himself. His BP was awesome today. He hammered a ball in his first at bat. Or it's maybe, he got a ball pretty good, and then obviously he really landed on that last one. So I think he's on the uptick there.
All right, last thing, night game tonight. It's been a busy couple days from travel and then, back and then to Houston. And a night game tomorrow, guys grab a little bit more rest.
Yeah, I hope these guys get a little more rest. And certainly the 7 o'clock game is, later start. So, we have a chance to get some good rest tomorrow for sure.
Winning's not easy, Coach. Congratulations.
Yeah, new day tomorrow. Thanks, brother. Hook 'em.
Wanted to bring that to you because it went on right around the same time as Longhorn basketball was closing out last night. I figured more of you than usual might have missed it, but Texas baseball getting the job done in game number 1, and they will face Oklahoma again tonight, looking to improve to 22-4. Back to Sean Miller and this Texas basketball team. Sean was asked to reflect on Jordan Pope's Texas career after another gutsy performance last night in front of many of his family and friends.
Well, number one, I'll just start with this. There's no player at the University of Texas that would be put at further risk. You know, it doesn't sound right when an injury like that happens, but that's the first thing to rule out. If there would have been a chance of that happening, then he would have had the choice to play. And then secondly, then it really comes down to Jordan and his family, making sure that they have all the correct information from our doctors and medical staff, and then really leave it up to him. And then once that happens, you know, really work together and as a team of doctors and us and just try to make him and prepare him as best we can so that if he's able to play, that he can be effective. And just watching him out there tonight was really remarkable, really was what he did, how he played under those conditions. And now, you know, he'll go and get healthy for the long term.
Next, Sean Miller asked about reaching the Sweet 16, but ultimately falling short of the Final Four. Miller in his 9th Sweet 16 in his 21 years of coaching in college basketball. Pretty darn impressive record, but still unable to climb that Final Four hurdle, at least not yet. And he was asked about his overall thoughts on that.
It feels really good to be a part of what we did. That's one thing that I would say. I remember being in Maui over Thanksgiving and having gone there a number of times. You know, it's an amazing trip and experience, playing 3 games in 3 days on national television in this wonderful, beautiful place. And we went there this year. I remember thinking on the trip, like, God, nobody knows each other. Like it's just the circumstances of being so new. And that was our starting point. But these guys, they kept working together. I think we definitely grew closer together. And obviously getting to this round is not easy. I think it's an accomplishment of itself. You know, the one thing once you get here, though, there's no moral victory of like, that's okay, because there's no guarantees you're coming back anytime soon. Our goal, obviously, is to make that happen, to come back soon and build a program and a team that can get to this round and go beyond. But you have to take steps to do it. And I thought this year and what our team accomplished was a real necessary step for a bright future.
How about the way Sean Miller thought that fouling impacted this game? Texas, remember, only allowed Purdue to shoot 2 free throws in the first half. The Boilermakers got to the line 18 times in half number 2. It's a big reason they were able to win this game despite shooting just 4 for 20 from 3, 2 for 18 after those initial 3-pointers that were knocked down to make it 6-0 off of Fletcher Lawyer's right arm.
Yeah, I mean, first I'll credit Purdue. I mean, those 2 big guys are very physical on the offensive glass. Obviously, the way they screen on and off the ball, the way they post up, and they put you in a position to foul. I thought they did a good job of attacking Modest. Modest is a young player, and he has grown by leaps and bounds this year. It's been remarkable to watch his rise as a player. And he has other levels he has to get to in terms of being smarter, making better decisions at times. But I thought, you know, Purdue did a really good job. Other than maybe the offensive foul, you know, Modest fought hard. It was a tall order against those guys.
All right, that's a good place to leave it for Sean Miller's sound after the game. We'll hear from him a little bit more in that season-ending press conference still to come, and certainly a lot of memories made by this team over the last week or so. The Texas women's team looking to write its next chapter. They take on Kentucky tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock in the women's Sweet 16, and we'll hear more thoughts on that matchup and on his team from the head coach, Vic Schaefer, after this here on AM 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
Phones, laptops, cars, smart speakers.
I use the iHeartRadio app.
All devices, all the time. Your home for the horns. 1300 The Zone. From the ABA Heating and Cooling Weather Center, this is Zone Weather.
Boston area weather calling for partly cloudy skies early this evening. It'll be cloudy overnight, a low of 56. Cloudy tomorrow, a high only of 71, and a low tomorrow night of 53.
This report is sponsored by True Green. True Green, the easiest way to get a golf course quality lawn. Don't wait. Sign up at TrueGreen.com and get your first application for $9.95. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. Let the pros do the work so you can enjoy your weekend. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Opening week is here at Dell Diamond. 3 giveaways and 2 fireworks shows highlight the fun. Don't miss opening day, Tuesday, March 31st. Get your tickets now at RoundRockExpress.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Hey, it's Howie Mandel, and I am inviting you to witness history as me and my How We Do It gaming team take on Gilly the King and Wallow 267's $1 Million Gaming right now at globalgamingleague.com. That's globalgamingleague.com.
Presented by Atlas Earth and Level Up Expo.
Sublime has a brand new song.
Until the sun blows up in the sky.
And it's on the newly released playlist on the free iHeartRadio app. Your no-cost destination to hear all of the songs that were just released, including Miley Cyrus, Luke Bryan, Central C,
I ain't seen Short E in a minute.
Paul McCartney, and so much more. Open the free iHeartRadio app and search new to listen now.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
Russ Faria was charged with a crime that he swore he did not commit.
No, I did not do this. I do not know how this happened. I did not do this. I was not involved with this.
Just after Christmas, Troy, Missouri, 2011.
The jury was left with no alternative, and in most people's words, the husband did it. Who else would have?
The prosecutor said it was rage, greed. We wouldn't be here if the answer was that easy.
In my opinion, an innocent man got charged with murder, and then it sort of a snowball from there.
I'm Keith Morrison. I've been a correspondent for Dateline NBC for 25 years. And in that time, I've never seen a story quite like this before. As we investigated the saga of murder, greed, lies, things became personal. What happens when a true crime show becomes part of the story? We could never have imagined.
I've worked on other cases that have twists and turns, but I've never worked on a case like this with so many twists and turns that were completely unpredictable.
From Dateline NBC, this is The Thing About Pam, the wild and unbelievable story of the murder of Betsy Faria.
I'd like to see this story conclude with justice. Betsy Faria has not received justice. Russ Faria has not received justice. Her family has not received justice.
And if we've learned anything in all the years we followed this story, anything is possible.
Whoa.
I'm Keith Morrison. The Thing About Pam, an all-new podcast from Dateline NBC. Subscribe now.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
Coach Sark here. Back to the Craig Way Show on your home for the Longhorns, 1300 The Zone.
We're back. It's the Craig Way Show with Hall of Fame broadcaster and voice of the Texas Longhorns, Craig Way.
Back into my old ways again.
Back to postseason basketball tomorrow afternoon for the Texas women's team. They'll face the Kentucky Wildcats in the Sweet 16 in Fort Worth, where, by the way, Vanderbilt, the number 2 seed in Regional 1, was upset by Notre Dame, and Hannah Hidalgo's 31 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. We told you about Michaela Blake's and her slow start to the game. She wound up getting it going with 26 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals, but she had a key turnover late in the game. It looked like one of those overinflated tournament basketballs struck again and bounced high up on her, and she lost that out of bounds. Notre Dame got the ball, got fouled. Then Vanderbilt was down 3 late, had a chance to tie it up, couldn't quite convert, and that was that. We can tell you that through one quarter in game number 2 of the day in Fort Worth, the top overall seed UConn Huskies trail number 4 North Carolina by a score of 12-11. More on those teams in a moment. First, back to Longhorn head coach Vic Schaefer and his comments in the press conference this morning. He was asked about Sarah Graves. How meaningful was it to have her get into the ball game and score in the NCAA tournament games thus far this season? And a little bit of a news story on Vic trying to push for her to have eligibility to come back and rejoin the team next season.
Yeah, in coaching, y'all, you have a lot of unique and special situations that occur throughout your career. When you've coached 41 years like I have, I've been a part of some really unique and special situations, and Sarah is certainly one of those. Just an incredible kid. Again, earned her way. Came as a walk-on, earned her way on as a scholarship athlete. What she brings to the table, to our locker room, to our players, to my staff is just, you can't put a value on. It's just, she's such a special, special young lady. And, hey, I'm trying to get her another year. I put her in for 1 minute in the last game of the year. I think her first year with me, just to get my seniors out to honor them on the road. And, so I'm trying like heck to get that 1 year back for 1 minute. So if that doesn't happen, I need everybody in here to raise hell. What an injustice that would be, huh? 1 minute, and that's going to cost you a year. And it's not like she's somebody playing 20 minutes a game or 30 minutes a game. Her value, what she brings to the table, what it would allow her to do with her master's degree. I don't think people realize that kid sits on a board with professional basketball players, ownership of the Spurs. It's a who's who in that room. And Sarah Graves is in that room on that board, just like the rest of them. That's how she's looked upon. And so it's really special. She's just a special kid. So I'm happy for her. At the same time, I'm a little selfish. I sure hope I get her 1 more year.
We'll continue to keep you posted on that story. Meanwhile, the Women's College Naismith Awards finalists were announced. The finalists included Lauren Betts from UCLA, Michaela Blakes of Vanderbilt, and 2 UConn Huskies, Ozzie Fudd and Sarah Strong. Now, there's some notable omissions there. For instance, some SEC players that didn't make the cut for that Naismith Award, including Madison Booker. The SEC was also snubbed from the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year finalists. No Raven Johnson, who was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Rory Harmon didn't make the list. Clara Strack, who was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year last year and will play an important role for Kentucky in this matchup on Saturday afternoon, were also left off the list. So Vic Schaefer was asked about those SEC snubs as well as Clara Strack's defensive impact as it pertains to this matchup to close out his press conference.
Yeah, Strack is a great player. She presents a lot of problems, and you have to really, we have to really be cognizant of her and Key and then those shooters. The point guards playing so well. I mean, they got a laundry list of issues for me, but Strack has just continued, I think, to develop, get better and better. Kenny's done a great job with her, and from a matchup perspective, it's a real challenge, and so she's so long. Like you better put a butt on her because she's a great rebounder. She has that nose for where the ball's coming off from, and I've watched plenty of film on her, so we're going to have to really do a great job. But at the same time, you can't it's not like you can bring help to double her because they got a couple kids out there can make threes like in their sleep. So it's a team that presents a lot of problems. And again, they're from 7 weeks ago to today, they're just a way different team. And so we're going to have to play really, really well. But she is a special talent, no question. And she certainly has our attention. As far as the Defensive Player of the Year award, I mean, I have to be careful. I don't want to take anything away from anybody else, on the list. All I'll say is we play in the Southeastern Conference, and it is full of future WNBA players. And I'll take our league against any other league with how many players are in that league, how many future players are going to be in that league, and that's who we have to guard every night. And we'll just leave it at that. We're it's the same in coaching. When I go and I have to coach in this league, like every night I'm going against a future Hall of Famer in some Hall of Fame. It's just that way. Every coach is really good. Every player, every team has a difference player that commands your respect and your attention. And then a lot of nights, some teams have 2 and 3. So, I think our league has plenty of great defensive players. I have to deal with them night in and night out. And, again, I'm not on those committees. I don't make those decisions. But I think when you start having these national awards, you got to get past some of the things that I think they're looking at. You have to look at who these teams are going against night in and night out. I think that's a fair way to do it. And I think for 2 months of the year, we're going in January and February, we're going against the best of the best. It's not like we're just playing 5 or 6 teams in non-conference. We played 5 or 6 in non-conference and went and played 19 in the SEC, right? So, that's what we deal with and our players deal with in this league. So, again, congratulations to those kids that are on that list. And again, I think we have plenty of players in our league that certainly warrant consideration. I'm sure they were.
Vic Schaefer, always outspoken, always sticking up for his players in those types of matters. Okay, that's a little preview of the Texas women's basketball game against Kentucky. One other big key for Texas in this game is going to be the turnover battle. Kentucky had 23 in the regular season matchup against Texas. That was a season high at the time. The Longhorns do well in preventing assisted baskets. They also take care of the ball quite well. So if that number stays in the 20s for Kentucky, you can almost pencil the Longhorns into the next round. But if the Wildcats play a little bit cleaner handling this Texas pressure, it's going to take a little bit more from Texas on their offensive end, from Madison, Booker, and company, than we saw last time. Should be fun. 2 top 10 teams in terms of efficiency via Torvik going toe-to-toe in a 1 versus 5 matchup. And you can hear the coverage of that starting at 1:45 tomorrow afternoon. Craig Way, Kathy Harson on the call right here on The Zone. We need one last break during today's show, and then coming up, we'll talk about some stories surrounding the other Sweet 16 games tonight on the men's side. We'll also keep you updated on the UConn women right here on the Craig Way Show, Sports Radio, AM 1300, The Zone, and the iHeart Radio app.
The madness is here. And it's all right here on the Zone. From tip-off to the final buzzer, follow Texas men's and women's basketball as they chase tournament glory. Big shots.
Heidi wide open for three, you bet.
Championship dreams.
How about Booker one more time?
How about it? Catch every minute, every highlight, every moment.
Look back,
The madness is here. Don't miss any of the tournament action on your home for the Longhorns. AM 1300 The Zone.
Texas Beach Volleyball is back in Austin as the Longhorns open their home season at the Texas Invitational. The Longhorns will host some of the top teams in the country, including number 1 UCLA and number 2 Stanford on Friday, March 27th. The action continues Saturday, March 28th with matches against Long Beach State and USC. Come enjoy great weather, free admission, and elite beach volleyball. The first 250 fans at the first match of each day will receive free Texas Longhorn sunglasses. Can't make it out? Watch it live on the Longhorn Network. Learn more at TexasLonghorns.com.
Watch the best cornhole players in the world compete for the crown at the ACL Kansas City Signature Open. After intense competition, the top 4 players go head-to-head on ESPN2. Doubles airs Saturday, March 28th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Singles airs Sunday, March 29th at 6 a.m. Eastern. Don't miss the action as the game's best battle for the title. The ACL Kansas City Signature Open, all on ESPN2.
Professional wrestling fans, the action continues every week. Watch TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC.
It is like electricity flowing through your veins.
Don't miss the adrenaline, the drama, and the total non-stop action.
No one can ever be as good as this right here.
Don't miss the action of TNA Thursday Night Impact every week on AMC. For showtimes and more information, visit TNAWrestling.com.
You ever wonder how far an EV can take you on one charge? Well, most people drive about 40 miles a day, which means you can do all daily stuff no problem. Go to work, grab the kids at school, get the groceries, and still have enough charge to visit your in-laws in the next county. But they don't need to know that. And the best part, you won't have to buy gas at all. The way forward is electric. Explore EVs that fit your life at electricforall.org.
Meet iPhone 17e. A whole lot for a lot less. With an almighty, all-powerful A19 chip. And Ceramic Shield 2, built to survive this. And this. And a 48-megapixel fusion camera with 2x optical quality zoom and next-gen portraits. And double the starting storage of iPhone 16e. And long-lasting battery life for hours of watching the studio.
That's the dream!
And it comes with Apple Intelligence. And you can charge it with USB-C or with MagSafe accessories. And a whole lot more, all for a lot less. Get the new iPhone 17e at AT&T today.
Hey, Texas sports fans, Mike Hardge here, and it's time for Texas men's and women's basketball. Thomas J. Henry Law is thrilled to be a part of the action with Texas basketball game broadcast, where the athletes give it their all on the court. Thomas J. Henry and over 250 attorneys give it their all when it comes to helping you and your family get the justice you deserve. Whether it's on the court or in the courtroom, dedication, strategy, and teamwork is crucial. For over 30 years, Thomas J. Henry Law has been committed to securing meaningful results for injured people and their families. After all, their law firm would be nothing without the communities and the individuals they serve. Visit tjhlaw.com to find out more. If you or a loved one have been injured, their attorneys are available 24/7 to help you. They have a reputation and resources to handle any case. Free consultation with no fees collected unless they win. Let's get into Texas basketball action this season, sponsored by Thomas J. Henry Law. On and off the court, it's all about the win. And remember to tell them Hardball Hard sent you.
The Maps app that came with your phone? It's fine if you enjoy waiting and guessing and inefficient routes. Or you could use MapQuest. MapQuest is back with live directions, real-time traffic, and faster routes. It moves when you move. Best of all, no printer needed. No paper. No more missed turns. Just you and the app. Get there fast with MapQuest. Download the MapQuest app on the App Store or visit MapQuest.com. MapQuest, still getting you there.
Right now at Steel Round Rock GMC, the road to a new GMC has never been better. You get the Steel Standard, over $1,400 of protection for free, plus huge discounts, like $13,000 off 2026 GMC 1500s or $5,000 off 2026 GMC Canyons. We've also made it easier than ever to find a vehicle to fit your budget, like a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 lease for just $249 a month, because everything we do is driven by you. Steel GMC in Round Rock. GMC, we are professional grade.
Longhorns baseball plays here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Wrapping up today's show, going to get to some Sweet 16 notes on the men's bracket, but want to get to a couple of program notes. First, make sure you know where everything is as far as UT sports over the weekend. We talked about women's basketball against Kentucky. That is right here on the Zone, starting at 1:45 for a 2 p.m. tip-off from Fort Worth tomorrow afternoon. Craig Way, Kathy Harston will bring you the call there. Craig right now on his way back from San Jose, where he called the men's game last night. Tonight, after this program, Bucky and BK will bring you a nearly full-length version of their show. BK was out in San Jose doing some content for the show there as well, and he had some good takeaways from the Texas basketball game. Him and Bucky Godbolt will share those with you on their program, along with much, much more. That's coming up right after this show from 5 to 6:50. Normally they'd run from 5 to 7, but tonight here on the Zone, the Round Rock Express will take on the Sugarland Space Cowboys, and we'll take you out there for a 6:50 p.m. first pitch in that game right here on the Zone. UT Baseball will air over on KHFI HD2. That's 103.1 Austin's 80s station. The softball game against Texas A&M, Lone Star Showdown, 27-game winning streak on the line for Mike White and the top-ranked Texas Longhorns. Their first regular season matchup with A&M since 2012. That's going to be over on KHFI HD3. Andrew Haynes will have the call for you in that game. Going to be busy. I know a lot of you might be headed down that way listening to us right now between the game at Charlene and Red and Charlene McCombs Field and UFCU Dish Falk Field. It is going to be a bit of a madhouse over there when it comes to parking. So I feel you if you're waiting in traffic, and glad you chose to spend some of your Friday afternoon here with us on the Zone. So Bucky and BK next, Round Rock Express at 6:50, UT Baseball over on 103.1 Austin's 80s station, and always available in the ballpark on that 87.7 frequency. And then Texas softball available on KHFI HD3. You can always find the audio as well, streaming on TexasLonghorns.com. Later this weekend, women's basketball, 1:45 coverage here on the Zone. UT baseball against Oklahoma. Coverage will start at 3:45. And that will be the third and final game of the series. Hopefully the Longhorns will have already wrapped up the series victory by then. So we leave you with some thoughts on the rest of the Sweet 16. First, in terms of Alabama and Michigan, Aiden Holloway has been granted a go-ahead to travel after the Tuscaloosa judge indicated that he is set to leave Friday, return Tuesday, but Aiden Holloway not with the Alabama basketball team. The Crimson Tide's number 2 scorer has missed the NCAA tournament so far after the felony drug possession charge that he was charged with for having over 2 pounds of marijuana at his residence. That's a big factor tonight for an Alabama team that will need to shoot the ball well from 3. Their offensive identity built around those transition threes, those kickouts, and the Crimson Tide are going to play against the Michigan team tonight that is really, really good at taking those things away. I feel a little bit similar in this game in terms of Alabama and Michigan to the way I felt on the show yesterday about Arkansas and Arizona. In the right circumstances, against the right top seed, Alabama or Arkansas could be a nightmare matchup. Not for Michigan, who really does a good job taking away driving kicks. Why a lot of teams can't drive on Michigan between Merez Johnson and Adai Mara protecting the paint, between the way that their guards, what they lack at times in terms of offensive punch and ability to create for their own shot, they can keep you out of the paint with the best of them. So I think it's a bad matchup for Alabama tonight. You look at teams that have beaten Michigan, I should say, this year. Duke and Purdue, how did they do it? Slowed Michigan down into a grinding, molasses-paced game. It's just not what Alabama does. And so despite how impressively they played on Friday night, or on Sunday night, against Texas Tech in the last game of the round of 32, just don't see it happening tonight for the Tide. St. John's and Duke, Caleb Foster is going to play. This is a big deal for Duke, who has looked very, very beatable without him. They were in a tussle with Siena. Heck, Siena, a couple of made three-pointers away from getting that game stretched out too far for the Blue Devils to come back. But Duke was able to survive and advance. They survived a pesky TCU test in the second round. Now they're going to get Caleb Foster back 3 weeks after foot surgery. You talk about gutting it out. We'll see what kind of effort Foster's able to give Duke tonight. And not quite the broken foot that Jordan Pope played through in the game last night for Texas. But look, Duke's defense not nearly as good without Foster on the floor. But now that he's back, now that Patrick Gungba is making an impact, the Blue Devil defense is really, really good. And St. John's at times can struggle to score. I hinted on the show yesterday that I was thinking about a St. John's upset pick. I don't think I'm there anymore with Caleb Foster at anywhere near full strength. It just gives Duke so much more depth. This was the number 1 team in KenPom over the first few months of the season. They dropped down to number 20 in the absence of Foster and Gungba. But Duke getting fully healthy is a dangerous Duke team. Michigan State, UConn, flip a coin. I mean, Jeremy Fears going up against Solo Ball in that backcourt battle. Darian Reed working against Cohen Carr in the paint. Tom Izzo working against Dan Hurley. It's the Broken Clipboard Bowl in D.C. there. And the last matchup, Iowa State, Tennessee. Who's healthier? What version of Joshua Jefferson do we get if he plays? The Cyclone's second leading scorer, who it's going to be a game-time decision in warm-ups, matching up potentially with Nate Ament, who Rick Barnes said is playing at less than 100% with a bad knee. Whoever plays healthier and more decisively out of those two, I think leads their team to victory. That's our time, folks. Thanks for tuning in on this Friday afternoon. Hate to end the episode like a therapy session, but I hope if you're a Longhorn fan, this might have felt a little therapeutic, going through, breaking down that Sweet 16 loss to Purdue. We'll be back with you on Monday afternoon talking some Texas women's basketball as they match up with Kentucky in the Sweet 16 tomorrow. For now, I'm Jake Herman saying so long. Bucky and BK are coming right up.